Blog Talk Radio.
Straight out of Israel, the land, relation, peace we embracing, streets be adjacent, exile files, hot not mild like Paul style, always show a smile profile, lit like a candle, subscribe the channel, holy words flow out of my mouth like Daniel, love not hate will make us a better nation, this is why we debate, get a revelation, get organized, then we authorize, bring the King James Version cause it's authorized, King Arthur sword, shade fuzz off the sides, got pride like a lion in my awesome tribes. Everywhere we amazing, debate talk for you is my favorite station. Shekels in the side, Jekylls when I hide, cause the squad like a bird that speckle when it flies. Get the real deal, research in the field, cause you know that man upset you when he lies. Make the mind get enhanced, matter of fact, thank Showtime in advance.
Welcome to the planet of debates, Debate Talk Radio.
What's going on, brothers and sisters? This is Brother Stanley Sylvain of Sin No More Ministries. I'm letting you know that every time I'm not putting together some lessons to bless the people out there, I am definitely listening to Sal Showtime and Debate Talk for you. God bless you all. Peace.
You don't want to miss checking out the most controversial video of the year. Everybody's talking about it. A video produced by Absolute Bible Truth teacher, Bro.Josh. The video is entitled, Is There a Secret Gay Agenda Amongst the Comedic Conscious Groups? Once again, it's one of the most talked about videos right now, and you want to make sure you go check it out. So go to the website, www.absolutebibletruth.com/store. And once you get it, it's an automatic download. You don't have to wait for it to be sent to you in the mail. It's an automatic download. So once again, go check out the video, get it fast, and get it now.
Don't touch that dial. You're now listening to Debate Talk Radio.
This is Ronald Francoeur representing from Atlanta, Georgia. And when I'm not busy in the studio, I'm checking out Debate Talk for You Radio. Keep up the great work, Sal Showtime.
Hey, what's going on, family? How you guys doing? Welcome to another show. You're now listening to Season 7 of Debate Talk for You Radio. Of course, I'm your host, Sal Showtime, and we are back once again with another classic show for y'all. Again, we appreciate the people that's tuning in via phone and via Skype as usual by dialing that number 319-527-6239. Much love to the people that call in early, and of course, everybody overseas is checking out the show. Everybody on social media land, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram that's checking out Debate Talk for You. Do me a favor, if you're on social media, share it on your personal page. Let people know that Debate Talk for You is live and on the air. And, of course, make sure you attach that number. This is the show where you can call in with your questions and your comments. The only rule that I have is if there's no foul language, you got to keep it clean, keep it professional. Today's show is entitled, Would the Messiah be King David or one of his descendants? Once again, today's show is entitled, Would the Messiah be King David or one of his descendants? My special guest is standing by, and I see more and more people are calling into the show. We definitely appreciate the fans out there. I just want to let y'all know, if y'all didn't know, every year we take a summer break, from doing Debate Talk for You Radio. So the last show for this season is going to be Friday, June 2nd. Again, the last show for Season 7 of Debate Talk for You is going to be Friday, June 2nd. Therefore, we have 2 weeks left of Debate Talk for You Radio. However, we do have full cards all week. For the next 2 weeks, we're going to have shows every day for the next 2 weeks. But again, we're going to take a summer break, and I might do a summer special in July for about 2 weeks as usual. We usually do a summer special, but that all depends on the people's contribution towards that. But like I said, it's letting you know Friday, June 2nd is going to be the last show for season 7 of Debate Talk Free Radio. So, make sure you enjoy, check out the archives, and continue to support the brand, as we move along. But let me introduce my special guest. Everybody know my special guest. He's been here from day one, season 1 of Debate Talk Free Radio. You can check him out. Check out his website, www.absolutebibletruth.com/store. He also has a Blog Talk Radio show. I'm going to leave all that information in the description box. This is my brother from Absolute Bible Truth, Brother Josh. Welcome to the show.
Shabbat Shalom, Sal, or get ready for the Shabbat, Sal, because it ain't quite sundown yet over here, but it's close. And also, greetings to the Debate Talk for You audience, the Debate Talk for You universe. I just look forward to bringing a very edifying lesson to all of you tonight, whether you are Messianic or Tanakh only. I think you will be edified by this message, and I just pray that you listen with humility and openness of mind. Thank you.
Now, Brother Josh, before we begin, for the people that's listening on the phones, just let people know about your radio show information for those that are listening and they're not on social media. Let them know where they can call in, things of that nature. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, yeah. We also have a Blog Talk radio show, as many of you are aware. We have our class every Saturday, and we've been kind of alternating the time because of, like the later it gets, because it gets dark later. We kind of start a little later, but right now we're starting at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Saturday or every Shabbat. We have live classes, and afterwards we have questions and answers. I know that Sal, typically has a hot seat on Debate Talk for You. Well, I'm telling y'all right now, I go in the hot seat every week on my own class, and anybody can call in and ask any questions they want. But right now, I don't have the number in front of me. I'm pretty sure Antoine LeVar have the call-in number. I never have the call-in number in front of me, and it changed on me one time anyway. So, but for now, you can just call in every Shabbat, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when we start. One of them can give you the number. Thank you.
All right, what I'll do is I'll leave all that information in the description box on YouTube, on Blog Talk Radio, and, of course, on the iTunes podcast. So if you want to reach out to Josh in any way, shape, or form, via email, via website, if you want to check out his live classes on Shabbat, I'll leave all that information in the description box. All right, people, let's get this. Matter of fact, anybody has a number on deck right now? Go ahead.
Yeah, how everybody doing? This is Brother LeVar representing the Most High in Christ, along with Brother Josh and Brother Antoine representing Absolute Bible Truth. If you guys want to get some more teachings and more edification, dial in Blog Talk every Saturday, like Josh said, at 319-527-6197. Again, that's 319-527-6197. We on there every single week, and with Brother Josh at the helm, we presenting lessons, and we have a nice dialogue afterwards where it's specifically dealing with the questions, even if it's off topic, and you guys just come on in and learn. With all that said, I say peace.
And Brother Antoine, if you're there, man, say hello to the people. What's up, man?
Peace. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. You good? You good?
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, what's going on, Sal? Josh and LeVar, Debate Talk for You audience. Man, it's great to be back on again. Great lesson, great topic. A lot of stuff is going to come out in this lesson. Biblically, historically, that's how we deal with, real elite scholarship, and that's why I love Absolute Bible Truth so much. Also, I want to say to you, Sal, you said you're in season 7 right now?
Yep, season 7, going on season 8. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. I just want to say congratulations to you. for sticking around for so long. You know, I remember when you first were started back in season 1, and I remember I was like, I don't know if we should go on this show. Like, I was kind of like, man, I don't know about this. Should we do it? And you know, 7 seasons later, and you're about to go on season 8. It's truly been a blessing to a lot of people out there. I know I've met a lot of great people through your show. And we actually have members of ABT now who heard of us on your show, through your show. And I know it's been a blessing to a lot of people. And I just want to encourage you to continue doing what you're doing. And I appreciate your service, man. Appreciate it.
Man, I appreciate that, man. As well, I got to thank you as well. You know, I'm finding y'all guys on YouTube. Brother Josh, inviting you to the show. And, from season 1, y'all still been here riding with it, with the brand. So, of course, I appreciate everybody from ABT and, of course, Brother Josh. All right, family, let's get this show started. Y'all get your pen and pad ready. Like I always say, make sure you take down them notes, y'all. Take down the notes. And, of course, I just want to let y'all know, ABT, I got a lot of people that they saw this title. Of course, we advertise these shows on social media. And I got a lot of phone calls and all of that, man. People like, yo, I'm going to call in. So we have a lot of anticipation with this particular show, as usual. So let's get it started. Without further ado, family, take it away.
Thank you, Sal. And thank you, everybody, again, in the Debate Talk for You universe for tuning in. You could have been doing anything else, and you decided to tune in and listen to a lesson done by ABT. So we appreciate that. Now, I'm not going to tiptoe around the tulips and pretend like I'm doing this particular topic out of nowhere. See, we don't play games at ABT. Everybody knows why I'm doing this topic. Now, everybody knows that I had a debate with Chris Harris, and this is not a shot at him. So before somebody calls in, oh, Chris, he putting you on blast, this ain't got nothing to do with taking a shot at him because I'm not even dealing with what we debated on. What this class is going to do is clear up a lot of misconceptions and just straight up false accusations that the Tanakh-only Hebrews place against Messianics and just Bible believers in general who ascribe to the New Testament. And that misconception and false accusation is that, number one, we don't understand the Tanakh. And number two, Messianic interpretations that we get from the Tanakh is strictly influenced by the New Testament. And those things are just not true, sisters and brothers. In my debate with Chris Harris, what I wanted to establish for the people is the Tanakh was written first. Thousands of years before there was a such thing as a New Testament. So what I wanted to establish to the people is the understanding that ancient Israel had of these passages before the New Testament came on the scene. Now, why should this interest the Tanakh-only Hebrews? And why should the Messianics be interested in this? Because, number one, if you can show the Tanakh-only Hebrews that the Messianic interpretations of the Tanakh that Christians ascribe to had already existed for hundreds to thousands of years before there was a such thing as a New Testament, then no Tanakh-only Hebrew can accuse you of getting your understanding of the Tanakh strictly from the New Testament. And see, every time I try to bring this out and illustrate this point, what most Tanakh-only Hebrews do, not all of them, what most of them do is they will go on an immediate attack of Jesus and the New Testament because they don't want to deal strictly with the Tanakh. See, what people don't understand is if I believe the New Testament and the Tanakh, and you only believe the Tanakh, then it would be stupid for me. I'm talking about me now. It would be stupid for me to try to convince you of anything from a book that you have already let me know up front you do not subscribe to. It doesn't matter what I show you. It doesn't matter in what context I present it, correct or incorrect. You don't believe it, and therefore you don't want to hear it. And at ABT, I teach people that if somebody doesn't believe the Bible or a certain part of the Bible, then you don't bring that to them. So when I debated Chris Harris, the reason why I didn't want to deal with the New Testament is because I know there were people who would be listening who don't subscribe to the New Testament. And see, what I don't like is how the people who subscribe to the Tanakh only were trying to make it seem like I was trying to handicap Chris Harris when I did that, when in fact I was trying to make it even, because I know that the majority of the Debate Talk for You audience is Messianic. And y'all know that too, Tanakh only believers. Y'all know that. So it wouldn't be fair for me to have two books or two set of books that I should use to present my side of the argument when I know people in the audience are going to subscribe to both of those books. Most people listening subscribe to both of those books versus he only having the Tanakh. And most people in the audience don't subscribe to just the Tanakh. So by me eliminating the New Testament from the equation, I was trying to even the playing field, not stack the odds in my favor. And that's why I didn't want to deal with the New Testament, because if I went to the New Testament, Messianics would be calling in left and right. Yeah, because they believe the New Testament. It would be the same as me debating a Muslim. I don't subscribe to the Quran, but there are lots of Muslims that subscribe to the Quran and the Bible. So what are you supposed to do in a situation like that? You deal with the common ground, the Bible. And then you go by which one was written first, and then you go by the original understanding of the text and what the people believe concerning that text, and then you deal with the book that came later and the interpretations that the later book gives of the first book. That's how you do stuff. Everybody knows the Tanakh was written first, but they want to pretend like there were no interpretations documented in history of these passages that we read every day until the Christians came on the scene and started misinterpreting stuff and mistranslating stuff. That is the Tanakh only Hebrew argument in a nutshell. But tonight we're going to do something a little different. We're going to show you that long before Christianity, let me repeat that, because Antoine and LeVar, I don't think when I say stuff sometimes people be listening the first time. So let me just say that again. We're going to show you that long before Christianity came on the scene, and even with contemporary Christianity, that means people who did not believe in Jesus but were Tanakh only. These passages that you find in the New Testament that are interpreted messianically were interpreted messianically by the Jewish community too, by the Hebrew community. The only dispute was, are these passages referring to Jesus Christ or Yeshua HaMashiach or not? That was the only dispute. Nobody was arguing over if, say, Jeremiah 23 was referring to the Messiah. Everybody universally understood and accepted that. But what they didn't agree on was who is the Messiah. And what's happened today among the so-called Jews, y'all know the Caucasian Jews, the fake Jews, what they have begun to see is that when you read the Tanakh honestly and with a contrite spirit, eventually you begin to see Jesus Christ in the Tanakh. You will. So what did these people do? They said, we got to come up with a plan to prevent this. So they start rewriting translations of the Tanakh, like the Stone Edition Tanakh, for instance, which we're going to be going into tonight. Because I'm going to show you that even the Stone Edition Tanakh testifies that the Hebrews believe in a future Messiah that would be the descendant of David. Nobody in ancient Israel was sitting around waiting on David to return and save them. If they were waiting on David to return, it's because they believed in the resurrection and they believed all the saints would come back. But there's nothing in history, nothing in the Tanakh, except misinterpretation, nothing in the New Testament that states that anybody was waiting on King David, the original King David. Everybody understood and knew that whoever the Messiah would be, he would be a descendant of King David. So where did this interpretation of King David being the returning Messiah come from today? Well, it came from the Tanakh only Hebrews. Notice I just said just the Tanakh only Hebrews, because even the so-called Jews, the Caucasian ones, know and believe and teach today that whoever the Messiah will be, because they don't believe he came yet, he's going to be of the seed of David. But Tanakh only Hebrews, only the ones that subscribe to David returning, because not all of them subscribe to that. So don't call in, all of us don't believe that, Josh. I know, I just said it. But the ones that are trying to convince you that King David, the original King David, is going to be the future Messiah that's going to return, that was invented today by black Tanakh-only Hebrews. And I can take it even further. I'm not going to do it tonight, but I can take it even further and show you that that doctrine was originally created to teach that David would be reincarnated today as one of our modern leaders. Mm-hmm. That's where that doctrine came from. People don't understand this stuff. You don't search the history of any of this stuff. A lot of this stuff y'all are getting, it has a very, very dark history to it. But what y'all want to do is come on here and argue with ABT. But I'm going to show you today, we're going to dive right into this, and I'm going to show you that these messianic interpretations that we as messianics, or Christian, whatever you want to call us, I don't care. Yes, I'm a Christian. I ain't never denied that. Yes, I subscribe to the New Testament, and yes, I believe that Jesus is the Messiah. I don't know why people try to act like I ain't never told nobody that. Everybody know Bro.Josh and ABT.
Right.
Everybody know we believe that. So let's not play games and try to act like, oh, Josh is trying to, stay away from that. No, we're going to get into the New Testament too. But first we're going to go to Genesis 49. Why are we going to Genesis 49? Because this is one of the first places the Messiah is prophesied. Now what's crazy too, LeVar, when you read this, we all know that Christians interpret this to refer to Jesus, right? Mm-hmm. But to not only Hebrews that tell you that David is coming back, they would have to tell you if this is talking about anybody that's the Messiah, they would have to say it's David. We're going to kick this whole little David is returning Messiah stuff straight out the window. It has no historical basis. It has no scriptural basis. And I know about the scripture. Y'all going to go to Ezekiel 34, Hosea, they shall speak David their king. I already know about that. So if you got that on deck thinking you finna trap somebody or trip somebody up with that, I hate to disappoint you because I'm going to go there. So I'm already ready. I already know about all of them. So I hate to burst anybody's bubble, but just letting you know before you waste your breath that I'm going to go there. I'm going to address that because at ABT, we don't run from stuff. In an open discussion. Now, we already agreed that we're not going to deal with some stuff. And yeah, we ain't going to deal with that. But if it's an open discussion, we'll address it. And if we don't know, we'll tell you we don't know. But this is Genesis 49. I need you to read two verses, LeVar, 9 and 10.
All right. Genesis chapter 49, verse 9. And it reads, Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. Stoop down. He couched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of people be. Now,
all messianics agree that Shiloh refers to who we know as Jesus Christ. What this is saying is the scepter, the staff that the kings hold in their hands, the scepter shall not depart from Judah, the tribe of Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come, and unto him, Shiloh, shall the gathering of the people be, meaning he, this Shiloh individual, would be the one that would gather the people. What people? The people of Israel, and eventually all the other nations that believe in him. That is how we Christians interpret this, right? Mm-hmm. But what you've noticed is that a lot of these Tanakh only Hebrews have begun to adopt the Stone's edition to knock. And a lot of their interpretations of Scripture come from the Stone's edition to knock. So what we're going to do, LeVar, is we're going to read this same thing out of the Stone edition to knock. I'm going to read it because I have a Stone edition to knock. And I'm going to show you from the commentary in the Stone edition to knock how the people who translated it interpret this passage. Now check this out. This is Genesis 49, 9 and 10 in the Stone edition to knock. Right? Look what it says. The scepter, I'm reading 9 first, a lion cub is Judah. From the prey, my son, you elevated yourself. He crouches, lies down like a lion. Notice that the animal, the lion, is associated with Judah. Mm-hmm. See, that's another thing you got to focus on. That's why in Revelation, Jesus is known as the Lion of the tribe of Judah. But we ain't getting off into that yet. No, not yet. Look what it says. Nor a scholar from among his descendants until Shiloh arrives. And his will be assemblage of nations. So even from the way this is written, you can see that they understand that Shiloh will assemble the nations. That's the same interpretation I get from the King James. But the only question is, who would be Shiloh? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the commentary of Genesis 49 and 10. This is in the Stone edition to knock, meaning this is how they interpret this passage. And the Stone edition to knock was written, well, translated way after the first century, way after that. And this is translated by non-Christian so-called Jews. They don't believe in the New Testament. They don't believe in Jesus. But let me show you the interpretation they are getting out of this. And then I'm going to show you where they got the interpretation from. But this is Genesis 49 and 10. Look what it says in the commentary. The privilege of providing Israel's sovereign ruler, symbolized by the royal scepter, shall not pass from the house of Judah. And in parentheses, he has the name Ankelos, which is where he got this interpretation from. That's how the Stones do. When they put it in parentheses after it gives the commentary, it's letting you know who they got the commentary from. And if they have that person's commentary in the top, the Stone edition to knock, that means they believe it. You got a lot of King James Version Bibles with commentaries in them. That means that the company that printed that Bible subscribed to those commentaries, what they believe. So if you see a commentary in the Stone edition to knock, that means this is how they interpret that passage. But look, it continues. He breaks this down until Shiloh arrives. Listen to this, LeVar and Antoine. He's going to tell you who that is. I.e., the Messiah to whom kingdoms belong. And now he's getting this from Rashi.
Rashi, huh?
That's another Jewish scholar, but Ankelos lived a lot longer ago than Rashi. You follow what I'm saying? We're going to look him up. Look what it says. The word until does not mean that Judah's ascendancy will end with the coming of the Messiah. To the contrary, the sense of the verse is that once Messiah begins to reign, Judah's blessing of kingship will become fully realized. And it says, Shalah. For all the nations will acknowledge him and pay homage to him. So according to your Stone edition to knock, this is supposed to be interpreted messianically. So I shouldn't hear anybody who subscribed to the Stone edition to knock call in today and tell me they don't believe that this is messianic because you chose the Stone edition to knock. You might say, well, I like their translation, but I don't like their interpretation. You are an idiot if you say that because their translation is based off their interpretation. Mm-hmm. We can prove that to you in another class. In other words, how they understood it is how they wrote it out when they created the Stone edition to knock. And if you notice something else, it said the Messiah. It didn't say nothing about no David. Because they did not believe that this was referring to David. Yes, David came from the tribe of Judah. We know that. But David is not the Messiah. the very earliest, one of the very earliest prophecies about the Messiah in Genesis 49 that we interpret messianically as Christians, so do the Jews. But as we move further through this class, we're going to show you that everybody understood that the Messiah would be the son of David. We're even going to go to the Dead Sea Scrolls. That's another non-Christian source. So don't try to come over here, oh, y'all Christians, y'all made all this up. Y'all interpret all these messianically. This is a modern-day Jews interpretation right here in the Stone Edition tonight. This is what the Jews currently believe. Don't talk to any so-called Jew. Ask them, who is Genesis 49, 9, and 10 referring to? They're going to say the Messiah to come, the Mashiach. And then you ask them, is that talking about David? They're going to say, no, gosh, no, no. David was like a prototype to the Messiah. They're going to say that, and I agree with that.
Right.
So this whole interpretation about David coming back, that's some mess created by the Tanakh-only Hebrews. It has no grounds in Scripture or history. We're going to prove it. But now, what we're going to do is we're going to go to something called the Targums of Onkelos. Because remember, he gave us Onkelos as the interpretation of who Shiloh was. Now, the word Targum, if you look that up, it's an Aramaic word, and it refers to, it means paraphrase or interpretation of a particular scripture. So when it says the Targums of Onkelos, that means the interpretations of Onkelos. Now, Onkelos lived in the first century around 35 to 120 CE. That's the Christian or Common Era. So he lived in the first century, right? So he was contemporaries with Christianity and the early start of it, right? Now, according to tradition, Onkelos was a non-Jew who converted over to Judaism or Tanakh only. He never became a Christian. Mm-hmm. And his writings are based off of the interpretation of what he got from other Jews. So he didn't make this stuff up. You can look this stuff up yourself. Onkelos got his stuff from the Jews. They said he got it, he received it from Eleazar ben Hyrcanus and Joshua ben Hananiah. So his interpretations are based on what the Jews believe. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Targum of Onkelos on Genesis 49. And you know what's so crazy, too? This guy in this Targum and another guy we're going to read about, they give interpretations on all 5 books. Let's see how Onkelos understood this, because if we come on here and we go to Genesis 49 as messianic and we like, see, this is messianic, this is talking about Jesus. Some Tanakh Hebrews will come on here and they'll say, well, we believe it's messianic, but we don't believe it's Jesus. Then some will come on here and say, we believe it's messianic, but we think it's talking about David. We don't think it's talking about Jesus. And some will come on here and be like, well, we don't know. But yet they all try to pretend like they all have the same views. Like with that debate I had with Chris Harris. All of them don't believe that Psalms 110 is talking about David. All Tanakh-only Hebrews don't believe that. I would love to see a debate between a Tanakh-only Hebrew who believes Psalms 110 is talking about David and a Tanakh-only Hebrew who believes it isn't. Because then you won't be able to say, oh, you just trying to go by the New Testament. Neither one of y'all believe the New Testament.
Right.
But they go online and they try to pretend like that the only way you can not believe that Psalms 110 is talking about David or saying that he is the Lord sitting at the right hand of God, the only way you cannot believe that is if you believe it's Jesus. That is a lie. There are a lot of Tanakh-only Hebrews, modern and ancient, that don't believe that it's talking about David. They believe it's messianic. And in my debate, I pulled out some old interpretations of it, and they were all interpreted messianically. Nobody believed it was talking about David. But let's get off into something else. But I just want to let you know that they don't all believe the same thing, just like all messianics don't believe the same thing.
Right.
But they want to pretend like I got to be a Christian to not see that Psalms 110 is talking about David sitting on the right hand of God. I got to be a Christian to not see that. That is a lie, sisters and brothers. That's why I didn't even want to go to the New Testament, because if I did, y'all would just turn around and say, oh, the only reason why he's saying that because it says in the New Testament. Then when I don't go to the New Testament, you trying to take me to the New Testament. I'm trying to tell you, it ain't got nothing to do with this. I'm trying to leave that out. So you want to throw it in my face. But then when I'm proving my point strictly from the Tanakh, then you want to take me back to the New Testament. They can't make up their mind. When we take them to the New Testament, oh, that's false, that's idol worship. Yo, Jesus pagan, that's Greek. I don't want to hear about that. And then we go strictly with the Tanakh and go back to the New Testament and start attacking it. So which do you want? Do you want us to use the New Testament or not? Because I'm confused.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to meet you on those terms. I'm Tanakh only. Then that means, okay, the New Testament off limits. That's what that means. Mm-hmm. You talk to a Muslim, I'm Quran only. That means the Bible is off limits. So if you're going to deal with that Muslim, you better know some Quran. Because he ain't trying to hear nothing from that Bible.
Exactly.
If that's the kind of Muslim you're dealing with. Because like I said, all of them don't look at it that way. But this right here is the Targums of Arkelos on Genesis 49. And look, he even translated it out. The whole verse. The whole 2 verses. But watch what he says here. Look what he says. Jehudah, thou art praised and not shamed. Thy brethren shall praise thee. Sound familiar? That's what you were reading about Jacob's blessings to his sons. He's describing Judas. Thy hand shall prevail against thine adversaries. Thine enemies shall be dispersed. They will be turned backward before thee, and the sons of thy father will come before thee with salutations. The dominion shall be thine in the beginning, and in the end the kingdom shall be increased from the house of Jehudah, because from the judgment of death, my son, hast thou withdrawn. Look what else it says. He shall repose and abide in strength as a lion, and as a lioness there shall be no king that may cut him off. Still talking about Judah and his descendants. Look what it says. He who exercises dominion shall not pass away from the house of Jehudah. This is just letting you know that the tribe of Judah would be the kingly tribe. That means nobody out the house of Judah can operate as a priest, y'all. You know, just in case somebody try to call in and try to make somebody from the house of Judah a priest after a certain order of a certain Melchizedek. So we're going to continue. But look what it says, right? It says forever. Look what it says. Let me start it over because I don't want to start at the beginning of the sentence with this. Look what it says. He who exercises dominion shall not pass away from the house of Jehudah, nor the scepter, referring to the scepter, from his children's children forever. Listen to this. Until the Messiah comes. Why did Arkelos substitute the word shallow with Mashiach? Because he learned from the Jewish rabbis that shallow referred to the Messiah, and we know this is true because we just read that in the interpretation of the Stone's Edition commentary.
Right.
But then look what else it says. Right? Who is the kingdom, and unto him shall be the obedience of the nations, or whom the people shall obey. It said to him shall be the obedience of the nations, or whom the people shall obey. This is a non-Christian interpretation, sisters and brothers. So y'all can't say, oh, this is the stuff the Christians made up. No, it isn't. Nope. We didn't make this up. See, one of the biggest misconceptions that the Tanakh only Hebrews are propagating is that all of these New Testament interpretations of messianic passages, the Christians created it. That is a lie. I can do a whole class. Let me repeat that, y'all. I can do a whole class showing that every passage in the New Testament that was interpreted messianically, I can show you that some non-Christian Jew, either before that time or contemporaries with that time, interpreted it the same way. But y'all want us to believe we making this stuff up. Y'all got this from Christianity. No. Christianity came from what people call Judaism. You know, I don't really subscribe to Judaism, but y'all know what I mean. Mm-hmm. That's where Christianity came from. It was another sect of Judaism, just like the Pharisees, the Sadducees, and the Essenes, and the Zealots. That's how it was viewed in the first century. That even when you read in the New Testament, it called Paul a leader of a sect of the Jews.
Mm-hmm.
But Paul had already converted over to Christianity by then. Mm-hmm. Even the New Testament testifies that people saw it as another Jewish denomination. In fact, that's how the other Jews saw it, which is why in the early part of Christianity, they allowed the Christians to study in the synagogue with them. Study Torah and the prophets and keep the Shabbat with them. The first century Christians were doing all of that stuff. And it wasn't until they started persecuting the Christians that they started banning them from the synagogue. This is documented history. And history will tell you that their problem with the Christians was that they believed that Jesus was the Messiah and that he had resurrected from the dead. That's the problem they had with them.
And Josh, can you please point out to these people, especially these people who be typing on YouTube who really don't know no history, let these people know these people were Jews. These were not no Gentiles in the beginning.
Exactly. The first Christians were Hebrew Israelites. This is a fact.
Got a whole class on YouTube.
A whole class on it. This is not something you can just disagree with because you don't like. And we do have a whole class with it on YouTube. It's titled, Did Europeans Give Us Christianity?
Yep.
And to this day, nobody has refuted the information because it's all historically factual. But you got a lot of people who, they don't care about facts. All they want to do is argue endlessly. But let me show you something else, because this is not the only Targum in this book that I got. You also got the Targum of Palestine, that is also known as the Targum of Jonathan ben Uziel. Y'all got to look this stuff up. You can get these books off of Amazon and stuff. See, what they don't understand about ABT, they think we just blindly follow the New Testament. That's what they think, y'all. They think we ain't did no research into the Tanakh. I keep telling y'all, our Tanakh game is strong. I keep trying to tell these people this. We don't just dabble in the Tanakh. My personal philosophy is you are not ready for the New Testament until you understand the Tanakh.
Amen.
That's what I believe.
That's right.
It's not the other way around. You're not ready for the Tanakh until you understand the New Testament. No. You are not ready for the New Testament until you understand the Tanakh. People say, well, I don't believe the New Testament because they interpret a lot of passages from the Old Testament that didn't have anything to do with the Messiah in its original context. And they throw away the New Testament because of that. Don't you know that those kind of interpretations existed long before there was a such thing as a New Testament? Don't you know that the ancient Hebrews and rabbis were already providing dual explanation for scriptures? And the second explanation did not have anything to do with the content of the original scripture. Look this stuff up. Josephus did it. Philo did it. These are all Jewish guys. They're Hebrews. They all did that. In fact, it tells you that Philo was the biggest proponent of that, but he was not the first or the only. They were already providing spiritual, allegorical interpretations and dual meanings to the scriptures before there was a such thing as the New Testament. But they run across that in the New Testament because they don't know the history. And they say, see, look how these New Testament writers doing. They trying to make stuff out of its original context. That if a Hebrew Israelite at that time in history would be stupid enough to believe that something is referring to Jesus when you can see in its original context it has nothing to do with him unless they were already open to that kind of interpretation of Scripture.
Well, Josh, I got a question.
Go ahead.
Don't we find examples of that in the Tanakh with like Hosea?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
So basically what you're trying to say is people don't understand the living parable concept in the Tanakh.
They don't. This stuff already existed, where one thing is used to represent something else. And the thing that's used to represent the original has nothing to do with the original in its original content. That's why you got to know your history, sisters and brothers, so when you get to the New Testament, stuff like this won't throw you off. And if you read your New Testament, who were the biggest opponents of Christianity? Learned rabbis. And yet they converted.
Mm-hmm.
How did they do that? You think Matthew could have came in and said, out of Egypt I have called my son, and a learned rabbi looking at that, wait a minute, that's talking about the children of Israel. That's in Hosea. They ain't got nothing to do with no Messiah. You think a learned rabbi would just be bowled over by that and convert? Unless that learned rabbi was already open to dual interpretation of prophecy. And you can prove that in history. These were not just everyday people the disciples were debating with. They were going up against the best of the best. And people were converting. That's history. You can read that in history and in the New Testament. Rabbis were converting.
By the
teachers.
Yep.
But we don't know this stuff. But all these people want to argue endlessly. They don't want to go to no history. They don't want to go to the language until it's convenient for them. Then they want to go to the language. But when I go to the language, they just sit there blinking with a blank stare on their face. But listen to this one. This is the Targum, which means paraphrase or interpretation of Palestine, which is the Targum of Jonathan. Listen to this. It says, this is on section 8, it says, kings shall not cease from the house of Yehuda, nor Sepharim, teaching the law from his children's children, until the time that the king Mashiach shall come. So that's another non-Jewish messianic interpretation of Genesis 49, 9 and 10. This is not Christian. And you know this ain't nobody, and all these right here that you're reading about, this was written long after King David lived.
Yep.
So why isn't nobody interpreting this Mashiach to refer to King David when it was written long after he lived? This stuff dates to the 1st century. King David. Go ahead.
Or using David's name.
Or using David's name.
They're not saying, or David, well, they're saying Mashiach, not David, or David will come back, or David will come, and like you know what I'm saying? This well after the fact.
Well after the fact. People still interpreting this messianically. And I'm going to show you that they knew he would be the descendant of David. We're going to read that straight out. We're going to read that from the Stone Tradition. We're going to read that from the Dead Sea Scrolls. You can't run from this. This doctrine that we're waiting on David to come back. Some fool posted on Sal's YouTube channel, Josh, you're going to be in trouble when King David comes back. I'm not waiting on King David. King David ain't coming back to judge nobody. The Messiah is doing that. Wherever you believe King David is now, King David ain't sitting waiting to come back and judge nobody. He know that his descendant would do that.
That's right.
Well, let me finish this off. I'm going to read it again. It said, king shall not cease from the house of Jehudah, nor Sepharim teaching the law from his children's children, until the time that the king Mashiach, notice he substituted Shiloh with Mashiach or Mashiach, just like the Targum of Onkelos did. These are two different guys, right? Nor Seraphim teaching, okay, I already read that. It says, who is the kingdom, and to whom all the kingdoms of the earth shall be obedient. How beauteous is the king Mashiach, who is to arrive from the house of Jehudah. So they interpreted this messianically. But yet, if I go on Sal's show, me, Antoine, LeVar, I can come on here next Monday, do a class. I go to Genesis 49, 9 and 10, say, this is talking about the Messiah, and since we believe it's Jesus, we're going to say this is talking about Jesus. Somebody going to call in, and not only they going to say that ain't talking about Jesus, they're going to say this is not even messianic.
Right.
Then why is everybody in Hebrew history interpreting it messianically? Why do the New Testament interpret it messianically? Why does the Talmud interpret it messianically?
Mm-hmm.
All the Jewish records, both before and after Israel went into captivity. All Jewish records interpreting this stuff messianically. But some fool gonna jump up today and proclaim to be a teacher of the Hebrews and reject the New Testament and tell you all of a sudden this stuff ain't messianic no more. When he literally has thousands of years of history against him. That's why they can't stand us. That's why we got a lot of haters, because we make you think. We make you do research. I don't want you to blindly follow me. Go behind me and research this stuff yourself and see what you get. But also be humble and honest enough to call back in and say, I did the research. This is the same thing I got, Josh. Oh, but we're going to keep it moving, though, because we ain't done. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 11. Let's get into this seed of David. And we ain't done with the Stones edition either, because y'all love y'all some Stones edition. I seen another guy on the YouTube channel under me and Chris Harris's video. The Stones edition is the best translation of Tanakh. The same guy say he waiting on David to come back. And the Stones edition Tanakh don't even teach that. The interpreters of the Stones edition Tanakh say David would have a descendant that would be the Messiah. So your own sources contradict you. And if you try to say, well, I ain't got to agree with the interpretation of the Tanakh, well, what about the ancient historical interpretations of them? But then again, who cares about the interpretation? We're going to read this straight from the Tanakh, and you tell me what you're getting out of this. But we're going to look at it. This is Isaiah 11, LeVar. Read verses 1 and 2.
Isaiah chapter 11, verse number 1. And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots.
Mm-hmm.
And the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge, fear of the Lord.
Mm-hmm. Now, keep reading. Go ahead, keep reading.
Verse number 3. And shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of the Lord. And he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears. Verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 4. But with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove the equity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked.
Now, anybody can see that this is an apocalyptic verse 2, meaning something referring to some trouble coming upon the nations. But look what it says in verse 1. And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is saying something's going to come from something that already came out of Jesse. Notice it say, and there shall come forth a rod out of Jesse.
Right.
It didn't say that.
Didn't say that.
It said, and there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, meaning somebody is going to come from somebody who came from Jesse.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not David. So look what else it says he's going to do. It says he's going to be a righteous judge, and he is going to do what? And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. Now, my question is this talking about David or one of his descendants? Should we even interpret this messianically? Let's go to the good old faithful Stone edition Tanakh. Let's see what it says, and let's read it too. Because they throw the Stone edition Tanakh to us.
Right.
To try to escape the King James. Then when I started reading it, all of a sudden it ain't no good no more. The Tanakh only Hebrews are some of the most cherry-picking people that have came on Debate Talk for you in a long time. And if you don't know what a cherry picker is, look it up. It just simply means somebody who picked out certain things to promote their argument while ignoring everything that goes against their argument. Notice I'm in your territory. I'm on your turf. This is the Stone edition Tanakh. This is your turf, not mine.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't say I'm running. I'm in your house. This is your book. Y'all promoting this thing like it's going out of style. Ooh, get the Stone edition Tanakh. Y'all need to get the Stone edition Tanakh. Okay, let's see how Isaiah 11, 1 and 2. We're just going to read 1 and 2. Look what it says. A staff will grow from the stump of Jesse, and a shoot will sprout from his roots. The spirit of Hashem, which means the name, will rest upon him. A spirit of wisdom and understanding. A spirit of counsel and strength. A spirit of knowledge and fear of Hashem, which means the name. Now, let's go over to the good old faithful commentary. Let's see how they interpreted Isaiah 11 and 1. Listen to this. Mm-hmm. The 10 tribes which were exiled by the Assyrians will also be redeemed, and I'm not making this up, this is what it actually says, by the future Messiah. It actually says that. I'm not interpolating the word future into this commentary. It actually says that. And yet they look at me like crazy because I wanted the debate to be titled, is Psalm 110 referring to David or a future Messiah? But yet the book y'all subscribe to has this same kind of language in it when referring to the Messiah.
Yeah.
It said, let me read again. The 10 tribes which were exiled by the Assyrians will also be redeemed by the future Messiah, who will descend from the son of Jesse, i.e. David. That's what it says in the Stone Edition commentary, which is where you got your interpretation that Psalms 110 is talking about David. But then when you read this commentary right here, oh, I bet you ain't going to get with that. No, I don't get with that. But you're still in the Psalms 110 commentary from them. Because there's no way in the world can anybody tell me that when you just read Psalms 110 on the surface in the King James, you're going to get it talking about David just from looking at that. There's no way you can get that. Somebody has to perform an inception on you. If y'all ever seen that movie Inception, it means when somebody plant an idea into your subconscious and make you start seeing things a certain way. But if you just read Psalms 110 by itself, and it just says a Psalm of David, there's no way you're going to get, Asaph wrote it. Some guy on the YouTube channel saying Asaph wrote it. I'm asking, can you show me that? He started attacking the New Testament. That's all I did. You Tanakh only. This brother, I subscribe only to the Tanakh. Then the things that you say should be found only in the Tanakh. But it's not there. Another person say a priest wrote it. Wait a minute. Hold up. Which one did it? Another person say a soldier wrote it. That means nobody really knows. Yeah, you do. But even in your own Stone Edition Tanakh, they are interpreting these passages messianically. And we're going to go out of the Stone Edition Tanakh and see if anybody else interpreted this messianically. But see, people be playing these games. We don't play games at ABT. I'm going to give you a 360-degree view of Scripture. I don't believe in looking at Scripture with tunnel vision. That's the illusion that they try to create about me. Oh, he's just a Christian. Everything he says comes from the New Testament. I'm reading this in a non-Christian source by modern-day non-Christian Jews. So how dare you accuse me of my understanding coming strictly from the New Testament when this was understood for centuries, even thousands of years before there was a New Testament, to be messianic. Right. And notice he said Rashi again. The culprit again is Rashi. Well, let me show you something. Let me show you that this isn't just the Stone Edition. Notice we're going to historical sources. We're going to modern-day sources, modern-day interpretations, historical interpretations. We ain't came across anybody yet come out from David. We ain't came across them yet.
Nope.
Where did this doctrine come from? It came from the Tanakh-only Hebrews, not all of them, but the Tanakh-only Hebrews who were so desperate to try to attack and debunk the New Testament that they have begun making David the future Messiah. I even debated some fool a long time ago on Debate Talk For You. Yeah, I called him a fool because that's what he was. Who told me that when David died, his body didn't see corruption. Because I took him to Psalm where it said David said his soul would not be left in hell, meaning the grave, Sheol, Hades, neither would he see corruption, meaning his body would decay. That dude said David got back up.
That's what he said. He said David's body did not rot in the grave.
He said that.
Yeah.
I said, what happened to him? He ascended to heaven. Well, on the right-hand side of the Father. That sounds like you just ripped off the New Testament and applied it to David. That's all you
did.
You can't Daniel Kings or Chronicles anyway.
You can't read that nowhere in the Tanakh.
And exactly,
David died.
Exactly. And David was the most talked about monarch, period, in the Old Testament. I mean, going his personal life, his reign, everything. No king was more talked about than David. If something like that happened, I'm guaranteed you probably would have had a whole book dedicated to it.
Right. And that was the basis of Peter's argument on the day of Pentecost in Acts chapter 2. That if David didn't die, why do we got his tomb here right now?
Exactly.
But this is what they have to do. This is why you got people saying ASAP wrote Psalms 110, but you can't read that in the Tanakh. But then to turn around and tell us the Tanakh say you don't supposed to add to it or take away from it. Well, that's what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the New Testament is an addition. No, I think the New Testament is just later revelation. The Bible is revealed in steps. You go from the Tanakh, then you go
the laws to the prophets.
The laws to the prophets, the history, major prophets, minor prophets. I know it's arranged differently in the Hebrew Bible, so don't call in trying to debate that. We already know that. And then you go to the intertestamental period, known as the 400-year silent years between Malachi and Matthew, in which the Apocrypha was written, where they built even more on their understanding of the Messiah. So by the time you get to the 1st century and your New Testament, there's a lot of stuff that you should already know before you go diving into that book. Exactly. And from what I've seen, the Tanakh-only Hebrews know little to nothing about the history that led up to the surrounding expectations and beliefs concerning the Messiah and how messianic scriptures are interpreted. Y'all have no idea about that. Won't you go look at this stuff? Y'all act like nobody had no opinion about this stuff until y'all were born. Y'all don't want to use the New Testament, so what did they understand about this stuff before there was a New Testament? That's what I want to know. I'm taking the New Testament out of the equation for y'all, and you still got a problem. Back in the day, what was the accusation? Oh, they just going to run to the New Testament. I stay out the New Testament, now you going to it. I don't get it. What do you want? And then I go right back to the New Testament with you, so you don't understand jack about that. Now you want to run back to the Tanakh. Then I beat you down in the Tanakh. Okay, time to attack the New Testament again. Do y'all see that it's a never-ending cycle? They don't want to learn.
And you know, the craziest thing is you debated a particular individual a couple years back, and this guy runs to the New Testament and then sits there and admit, well, I don't really understand it. Why are you going there then?
Right.
You just told on yourself.
Or how about a year ago when I did the class with Zadok, and the brother said there ain't nowhere in the New Testament where it says the word of the Lord came to anybody. That's nowhere in there. And I showed him where it said it about John the Baptist. Now the brother said, oh, I got to see it in all 4 Gospels. You didn't say that initially. You just said you wanted to see it.
Right. Well, you do that. Now you run into a conundrum when you go to the Tanakh, because we know Ezra and Nehemiah don't say the same thing verbatim.
Exactly.
Some books that don't even have God in there.
Exactly. Everybody don't mention everything that everybody else does when they are talking about the same event. No two people are going to record an event the same way unless somebody is copying the other. Ain't nobody going to say the same thing. You got backgrounds, you got cultural influence that's going to go all into what they write. And then you got to get into understanding the idioms. Like LeVar is from up north. Antoine is from down south. So if they record the same event, LeVar might be using some slang that Antoine ain't familiar with living in the south, and vice versa.
Exactly.
Yep.
And then you got to look at their upbringing. Then you got to look at their culture. They're going all of that. People don't understand. All of that plays a role in how somebody records something they witnessed.
Not to mention their level of education.
And your level of education, too.
Brother Antoine went to college. I did not go to college. So he might be able to articulate something better than I can and use words that I'm not familiar with.
Exactly.
This is why you see Paul write the way he does in the New Testament, because he was very well educated.
Exactly. And if you don't believe that, all you have to do is go back to the history of this country and read an article about something that was unjustly done to a black man that was written by a white journalist, and then read the same story written by a black journalist.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Same story, but that black journalist going to be, man, you devil, y'all did this. It's just another example of white supremacy. He's going to be saying all of that. But the white journalist is going to be like, black man was killed yesterday. The circumstances are still pending. That's all he's going to say. Y'all know I'm not lying. We don't consider any of this stuff when we reading multiple accounts of the same event. But let's continue, though. We're going to do something. We're going to go to the Complete Dead Sea Scrolls in English. This is a book. It's on Amazon. Very good book. Messianic to not only you need this book in your personal library. Why? Because it shows you the expectations that this certain set of Hebrews that were non-Christians had about the Messiah, and we're going to read right now how they understood Isaiah 11. This ain't got nothing to do with Rashi. And this is where the oldest Hebrew records of the Bible were found.
Oh, by the way, can I add something real quick about Rashi?
Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
A lot of these modern day Tanakh only Hebrews, God bless they soul, want to believe that everybody during Rashi's time or before him believed in his interpretation. That is incorrect. A lot of those rabbis back then, I mean, I got quotes here, but we'll get into that maybe another show or something, that tells you that they said that this dude didn't know what he was talking about.
Right. He doesn't have full agreement with him. He doesn't.
And I'm talking about Tanakh only rabbis.
Exactly. But see, they try to make it seem like the only way you can agree with a certain Tanakh only interpretation is if you're a Christian.
No.
That's the game that people try to run, you know? And see, I don't like the Tanakh only Hebrews that know that they don't believe that Psalm 110 is talking about David sitting on the right-hand side of the Father, but out of respect for their fellow Tanakh only Hebrews, they ain't going to call in and admit that because they don't want to give no type of one-up to ABT. They know good well they don't all believe that. They're like all Christians don't believe in the Trinity. They're like all Christians don't believe in the rapture. And if I ever heard another Messianic on here talk about the rapture, I would call in and I would disagree. I'm not going to say, well, I'm not going to say nothing because he's a Messianic like me and he just happens to be debating a Tanakh only Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? I don't play no kind of games. That's called being a respecter of person. If you disagree with somebody, you're supposed to disagree regardless if you got more in common with them than their opponent or not.
That's right. A lie is a lie, and false doctrine is false doctrine. I don't care.
Exactly. But these guys want to play these games. See, that's why it's hard for me to trust these Tanakh only Hebrews because they don't play fair. They cherry pick and they lie. Yes, I said it. They lie because they try to make it seem like we making all this stuff up. That Christianity came up with these messianic interpretations, and everything we are reading right now are these interpretations that we're about to read. We just read one interpretation of Isaiah 11:1 by Rashi. It was messianic, was it not?
That's right.
It was messianic. Now, why is it when I read all these interpretations, y'all, of these messianic interpretations that are non-Christian, why everybody get mad? We in the complete Dead Sea Scrolls in English by Giza Verbs, right? And this is on page 189. And let me get here. And guess what the title of this is called, y'all? It's called The Messiah, Branch of David.
Mm-hmm.
That's the title of it. The Messiah, Branch of David.
That speaks
right?
Right there.
Remember, Isaiah 11:1 said, and there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse and a branch. But let me show you what he's going to do. Look what it says right here. Now, let's just pretend, y'all, we're going to play a little game right quick. Let's pretend that there is no such thing as the New Testament right now. All we got is all of these interpretations, right, that are not with the New Testament. These are all non-Christian. These are all pure Hebrew interpretations, right? How can somebody throw the New Testament in my face when all this stuff was written before the New Testament and they're all interpreting it messianically? But when I go read this same messianic, because you can read the same messianic interpretation somewhere in the New Testament, y'all Christians again, there y'all go again. But you ain't going to say about these ancient Hebrews who, if you're a smart man, you would think had better understanding than these fools running around today. But the Messiah, branch of David, look what it says. As it is written in the book of Isaiah the prophet, the thickets of the forest will be cut down with an axe, and Lebanon by a majestic one who will fall. And there shall come forth a shoot from the stump of Jesse. Funny, it said a shoot from the stump of Jesse, because look how it reads in the Stone Edition Tanakh. And a staff will grow from the stump of Jesse, and a shoot will sprout from his roots. Ain't it funny how the Stone Edition reads closer to the Dead Sea Scrolls than the King James?
Mm-hmm.
So look what it says, though. It says, and there shall come forth a shoot from the stump of Jesse. And look how it says, the branch of David. And they will enter into judgment. And the prince of the congregation, the branch of David, will kill him. And then it has these ellipses which indicate that some part of the text is corrupt, so they couldn't translate what it said. It said, by strokes and by wounds. And look what else it says right here. And a priest of renown. It even called him a priest.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. Why is the Messiah being associated with also being a priest? Take your butt back to Psalms 110, and why don't you read it?
Yeah.
Or after the order of Melchizedek.
You are a priest after the order of Melchizedek. Not only, and we don't have to do that in another lesson, not only can we prove to you that there were many non-Christian interpretations that believe that the Messiah would be the branch of David, we also have many non-Christian interpretations that prove that he would be that priest after the order of Melchizedek, or that he would just be a priest in general.
Yeah.
This is history. They all gonna sit up here and argue with history. Now watch what happens, y'all. Watch. I'm saying this on the record. Watch when Sal uploads this to YouTube. You have the same haters in the comment section not dealing with any of this information and just saying, oh, Josh just thinks he's the Messiah himself. I don't have people say that, so I'm confused, y'all. First, y'all say that I'm trying to lead y'all to the false Messiah, Jesus. Then y'all say I'm the Messiah myself. Which one? It can't be both. I ain't trying to lead nobody to me, and I ain't never claimed that. He's on Josh making up his own religion. I didn't come up with this. This is in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Y'all know how old it is?
See, this is the type of ignorance that you see all over the comment section of the YouTube channel because of lack of education and a bunch of bias, and you guys sit up there up under these elders who really don't know nothing, and if they do know, they so deceitful, they ain't going to teach y'all, and we try to show y'all something. All it is hate online.
Exactly.
So if you ain't got nothing positive to say, at least just sit back and hear us out. Don't sit up here with all these smug comments. All y'all out here with all these negative comments, you know that. Let me know you on E.
Exactly.
You have nothing to offer. You're on E.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But this is in Dead Sea Scrolls, though.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Antoine. What you about to say?
No, I say it's it's funny because you can have a conversation with, and this is my personal experience when I have with Tanakh onlys, is that I have a conversation with them about the time I can't go between two back and forth discourses without boom, and all of a sudden they just completely ignoring everything you said, attacking Jesus, or they losing their mind, name calling you all out your name, cussing you out and everything else, when all you doing is answering them a simple question.
Exactly.
Or they ask you know what I'm saying? And it'll just go right after a couple back and forth, and then they just lose their mind.
Exactly. And you know what the crazy thing is, too? They don't supposed to be acting like that.
No, exactly.
If you believe in the Tanakh, but see, y'all get mad at me. All of this is history. All of this predates the New Testament, or is contemporaries with it. All of this is written by non-Hebrews. Now, why is history agreeing with the New Testament? Why is it that every time we read about this branch, it's talking about somebody who would be a descendant of David? It said the branch of David, and they will enter into judgment, and a prince of the congregation, the branch of David, will kill him. So it's talking about the branch of David killing somebody. Y'all know that.
Mm-hmm.
But we read that in Isaiah 11 and verse 4. It said he's going to smite the earth with the breath of his lips and slay the wicked. That means kill the wicked. Let's go to another interpretation in the Dead Sea Scrolls. See, this is what I be trying to get y'all to understand. See, they get mad at me, and they get mad at LeVar, and they get mad at Antoine, and all we doing is showing you your Hebrew history.
That's it.
That's all we doing. This ain't got nothing to do with no Christianity. Y'all get mad at me when I go into Tanakh and I show the earliest interpretations of the Tanakh, and y'all get mad.
Well, see, one of the main problems is when they hear the word Christian or Christianity, first thing they think of is Greco-Roman culture. That's too late. That's too late.
Exactly. You got to go back a little further than that. You got to go back a little further. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all looking at something we ain't even talking about.
And on top of that, y'all, if you've been listening to ABT for a long time, y'all know good and well we don't even represent that ideology anyway.
Exactly.
Y'all know that. Let's not play games, man. Y'all know what time it is. People be killing y'all. They be trying to pretend like they don't know what time it is. Like they don't know who we are or what we believe. They be killing me. You know what I'm saying? I remember a long time ago, Judah Nazareth kept on calling me Creflo. I ain't got nothing in common with no Creflo. I ain't rich, and I don't teach prosperity like it's going out of style. That's what he teaches. But that's the type of mindset they try to put on people. They be trying to perform inceptions on y'all. That's why my debate they got for ISUPK when they uploaded 10 minutes of a 3.5-hour debate to their YouTube channel. 10 minutes now. Debate 3.5 hours long, and they upload 10 minutes of it. And then they titled the debate, Ourself versus Christian Pastor, like I ain't got no name. And then you were careful to throw the word Christian in front of them, which is true, and pastor, which is true, when you know I subscribe to a lot of the Hebrew Israelite faith. Y'all know that. But they did that because they want everybody to already be tuning in with a preconceived notion about who I am and what I believe. Why didn't he title it Captain Ourself versus Brother Joshua? Brother Joshua, there might be another Hebrew Israelite. You know what I'm saying? Let's give him a chance. No, people do stuff like that.
Roscoe, I did it too.
Roscoe, I did it too. Christian Josh, as if I'm ashamed of being a Christian. I know what I am. I don't need y'all to tell me that. You know what I'm saying? But this right here is another interpretation in the Dead Sea Scrolls. This is page 494. And this is the interpretation. This is what it's called, Genesis 49 and 10. And it's going to tell you what this means. Now watch what it does here, right? Because you're going to notice that by the time the Dead Sea Scrolls was written, all of the Old Testament was done. So people was already piecing the puzzle together. They'll read one verse, and then they'll have other verses that ain't got nothing to do with it, particularly, and they'll hook that up too because they know multiple verses refer to the same individual, the Messiah. Now, this is their interpretation of Genesis 49 and 10, right? We already saw Onkelos. We saw Jonathan, right? Now, watch this. This is from the Qumran community. Look what it says. The scepter shall not depart from the tribe of Judah. Whenever Israel rules, there shall not fail to be a descendant of David upon the throne. See, first it told you what the verse says, and then this is the interpretation. It said, the scepter shall not depart from the tribe of Judah. This is the interpretation. Whenever Israel rules, there shall not fail to be a descendant of David upon the throne. And then he got in parentheses, Jeremiah 23 and 17, which we can go to the book of Jeremiah as well. Look what it says right here. For the ruler's staff is the covenant of kingship. They're breaking this down. When you read stuff like this in the Dead Sea Scroll, that means they are giving their understanding. This is a non-Christian interpretation, right? Mm-hmm. Notice he's taking you back to Genesis 49 and 10. That's what I find hilarious. But we talking about Isaiah. But watch what it says. It says, for the ruler's staff is the covenant of kingship, and the plan of Israel are the divisions, until the Messiah of righteousness comes. So notice they interpreting Shiloh to be the Messiah too, right? And then it says, the branch of David. Where are they getting this from? Where are they getting this from?
They ain't getting it from Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John.
They ain't getting it from Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. They're getting it from the Tanakh. Remember, we're pretending the New Testament don't exist. Maybe now y'all can understand why Christianity was able to flourish, because they weren't coming with no new concept.
Yep.
All they was telling you was that, hey, Jesus is the guy. That's all they were doing. Well, nobody going on Psalms 110 and telling you, oh, it's not talking about David no more. Now it's talking about the Messiah. Nobody was saying that. They already believed that the Lord sitting at the right hand of God would be the Messiah, a descendant of David. They already believed that. They were never disputing that. You can't show me no documentation of anybody disputing in the first century or earlier the meaning of Psalm 110. So why is there a dispute today?
Because y'all don't understand the New Testament, and y'all don't understand it, not really.
And you are following the interpretation of the modern-day Jews, which I'm just kind of confused too, y'all, because these are the same to not only Hebrews that say, the Jews over there now, they fake. They stole our identity. They're imposters. They're liars. Some of them, they're Esau. But then you go run to their translation of the Tanakh.
Exactly.
And follow all their commentary. So let me get something straight. You are following some people as they impersonate you. So you are impersonating them as they impersonate you. That don't make no sense. But you can't believe these lying Jews. They don't lie. The Jews, they eat them. They rule the whole world. They don't been stealing our identity. I don't see people do whole videos, and these videos are true, about how the Jews played a major role in African-American slavery.
Yeah.
Now, they played a big role in there. Y'all bring all this stuff out accusing the so-called Jews for being the most evil people on the planet. Some of y'all even call them the devil, but then go run his translation of the Tanakh and use his interpretation.
Amazing.
All just to run away from Jesus Christ. Do y'all hate so much that y'all got to lie that much? That you got to be that big of a hypocrite? Do you hate them that much? But look what else it says. We're going to finish this off. It says, for to him and his seed is granted the covenant of kingship over his people for everlasting generations, which he is to keep. And the ellipsis, letting you know that his part was corrupt, so they couldn't translate it. The law with the men of the community. For, with the ellipsis, it is the assembly of the men, and it says of, and then the ellipsis. But y'all got the gist of it. But where are they getting the terminology branch of David from? Where is that coming from? They're getting that from the Tanakh. Wasn't nobody waiting on David. They were waiting on his descendant, his branch, his stem, whatever you want to call it.
I got a question real quick, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that particular interpretation you just read, now, was that talking about the Messiah seed right there?
It says, let me show you, let me read it to you again. It says, righteousness comes the branch of David. Mm-hmm. For to him and his seed is granted the covenant of kingship over his people for everlasting generations, which is his to keep. Yes. But remember, we got a whole class on what that means when it says his seed.
And you know, my spotty senses went off because I was like, hold on, man, that's Isaiah 53.
That's Isaiah 53. Yes. That's what that is.
He shall see his seed.
Yep. That's Isaiah 53. So why are they interpreting Isaiah 53 to be messianic? I thought Christians invented that. Mm-hmm. Like I said, they take one verse and then they hook them up with others because by the time this came on the scene, they knew it was all talking about the same individual. But nobody wants to deal with this type of stuff, right? But it's already been an hour. Sal, let's open up the phone. I got more, but let's go to the phones right now.
All right, family, it's about that time. If you're listening on social media, you're listening on Blog Talk Radio, the number is 319-527-6239. Feel free to call in and press number 1, and then we'll add you in the conversation. If you're already on the phone lines, simply press number 1, and we'll let you ask your questions. This is your time to ask your questions and your comments. Let's go to the first caller. Let's go to 407-721, live on air. – 407-721. Can you hear me? 407. Are you there? 407-721. Are you there? Can you hear me? All right, ABT, you can hear me, right? Y'all can hear me, guys?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, we here.
Okay.
Loud and clear.
All right.
On deck.
Well, unfortunately, 407 is not responding, and guess what? Nobody else pressed number 1 at this time. So I guess you can go ahead.
Playing, Sal? Well, no, Sal, when this show started, you said, I get out these phone calls, and everybody been highly anticipating this, and then soon we open up the phone, nobody. And that 407 probably somebody from ABT.
It's like an Orange County area.
Let me check them again.
No.
Let me check it again.
Please
407-721. Can you hear me? 407. Are you there?
You be muted. Tell him to unmute himself. You might have his phone muted and don't even realize it.
Yeah, please unmute yourself if you probably mistakenly muted yourself. We can't hear you. 407-721. Are you there?
Or he was thrown on the switchboard, Sal. You know that happens sometimes too.
Yeah. All right, we'll go to somebody else press number 1. Let's go to the next caller. Let's go to 832-274. You're live in there.
Hey, y'all. Hey, Brother Josh, man, good teaching, greatly appreciated, man. Unfortunately, I hope I'm not disappointing you, but I'm definitely not knock only, you know what I'm saying? But just want to say that was really edifying message, and I know you got some more comments, so looking forward to it. One thing I wanted to ask, though, is that you were referring to from a historical perspective, and you talked about the Qumran, one of the Qumran passages, I guess from the Essenes or whatever, that mentioned that the scepter won't depart from Judah, and how that was messianic, about, you know, the descendants of David will always rule when Israel's in charge. I wanted to ask you, is there anything, is there any information from even the white? Because I heard, and I thought it was from you, that there was also some records even from the white Jews in Israel today who had that same type of interpretation. I don't know if it was.
We read that.
What you call it? The oral law? I forgot what you call the book where the oral law is in.
Oh, the Talmud.
Talmud or something like that. But what I understand, I thought I heard it from you there, though. Even the white Jews believe that same thing. So anyway, that's my question, but appreciate it.
Yes, they do. To answer your question, yes, they are. Even the white Jews are ahead of the Tanakh only Hebrews, the ones that believe that, because not all of them believe it. But even the white Jews are ahead of the Tanakh only Hebrews in understanding that the Messiah would be a descendant of David, not David himself. And I know where the misunderstanding is coming from. I'm gonna touch on that. Don't worry about that, y'all. We gonna get with that. But appreciate your call, brother. You got anybody else, Al?
All right. Hold on. 407, press number 1 twice. Let's see if he responds this time. 407-721. You're live in air.
What's going on, brother? Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
What's going on? This Dark Jew, Kadar over Yahoo. I got a question for you, Brother Josh.
Mm-hmm.
You putting out a lot. You saying to knock only this and to knock only that a lot. And I'm a Tanakh only brother, and the reasons that you're saying, all the reasons that you're giving, I don't subscribe to. So I mean, if I can ask you one question, if you don't mind, and I will see if you can make sense of it.
Yeah, you can ask the question, but how many times did you hear me say tonight? Not all. In fact, I just said that.
No, I'm not.
I'm not.
No, but I'm saying, all I'm saying is between you and the brother. Everything y'all was saying about Tanakh only was a lot of y'all opinions. So I'm going to give you the reason why I don't subscribe to the New Testament.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, that's true. Okay, hold on. But I didn't say, you said it's only my opinion. No, it's not. They came on the show and said it themselves. So it's not my opinion. You can ask them if you don't believe me. Ask certain other, but I'm glad that you called in and said that you got your own reasons for not subscribing to the New Testament. I actually appreciate that.
No, I'm saying outside of anything you said. I'm saying from what I okay.
Okay. Whatever the reason is, it ain't got nothing to do with what I don't put out tonight. Okay, cool. What I'm saying is, when I first started out, and Antoine, Sal, and LeVar is a witness, I kept saying, not all of them. So that means you would fall under the category of the not all of them, correct?
Okay. I agree.
Well, I mean, Okay. So you can ask your question.
All right. Is it just for the people? I don't know who's listening and what their knowledge of the book is, but when your Messiah of the New Testament, you know, Yahweh Shai, when he was here, there was no New Testament, correct?
It hadn't been written yet, correct.
Okay. So in 1 John 3:23, when it says, and this is his commandment, that we should believe on the name of his son, Jesus Christ. Can you show me that commandment in the Tanakh? Out of the 613 commandments, can you show me the commandment where we're told to believe on the name of his son, Jesus Christ?
No, because that revelation hadn't been revealed yet. And as I pointed out before, revelation is revealed in steps. Like, did you know, and this is the question I'm asking you, do you know who the Sadducees were?
No, sir.
Okay, the Sadducees, and I appreciate your honesty. The Sadducees, they are a historical group of Jews they didn't believe in anything beyond Deuteronomy. They only believed Genesis to Deuteronomy. So you had a lot of people in ancient Israel, a lot of sects that believed certain parts of Scripture and didn't believe others for whatever reason. The Sadducees didn't believe in revelation in historical fulfillment, like God will send a prophet this generation, then a few years later he'll send another one, or he'll have some prophets all around at the same time. No, this is not written in the Tanakh because their revelation hadn't been revealed yet. When the Messiah comes, whether you believe he already came or he's on the way, there are going to be things about the Messiah that he's going to be doing and instituting that you ain't ever heard of before. Even everybody understood that about the Messiah. I can do another class showing you from historical points of view before the New Testament, people even existed, how everybody had all these wild ideas about what the Messiah would do, and a lot of it was found nowhere in the Tanakh. Nowhere. But a lot of it was, too. So, no, this is not written anywhere in the Tanakh, and I don't subscribe to the belief that if it's not in the Tanakh, then I can ascribe to it because I believe that Revelation was revealed in steps, and I believe that God was still revealing things about the Messiah when you get to the first century.
So when we're told not to add or take away from the law, and if I was supposed to tell somebody to follow the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, and you will live forever, but nowhere in those law, statutes, and commandments will they see the name to believe in, according to 1 John. So in a
there
sense,
are a lot of stuff in the prophets that you don't specifically read in the Tanakh either. Did you know that?
Can you give me an example?
Well, read the prophets. Okay, I'm giving you an example. When you read the prophets, what the prophets are there to do is to give you understanding of the Tanakh, right? What the Tanakh tells you about the Messiah was that he would be an exalted individual, right? You agree with that, right? And he would have authority. When you read 1 John 3:23, it says, this is his commandment, that we should believe on the name of his Son, Jesus Christ, and love one another as he gave us the commandment. This is something that Jesus Christ himself said once he got here. So there are things.
So that wouldn't be adding to the law?
No, that's not adding to the law. The only time you're adding or taking away from the law is if you're doing something that contradicts or makes you break the law. For instance,
all right.
If you
I don't know how much more time I got on the comment, but
okay, let me give you an example. Let me give you an example.
Oh, go ahead, brother. You can bring it out.
You ever heard of the feast? You ever heard of the Feast of Purim?
The Feast of Purim, yeah, in Esther.
Okay, is that in the law? Would I be adding to the law if I celebrated Purim?
No.
Oh, whoa. You just said I wouldn't be adding to the law. But that's something that's not found in the law. Hold on. This is I'm going to answer that. According to 1 John, we're commanded. I don't see nowhere you can't show me where the Feast of Purim. Go ahead. This is something the Messiah commanded us, though. And the prophets lets you know that the Messiah would have certain authority. Just like Moses had certain authority. A lot of stuff Moses, like for instance. Okay, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you say Moses had authority, but that's just a whole nother topic because I would ask, can you show the Most High dealing with, Yahweh Shai on any level? Because he dealt with Moses a lot of different ways. Go ahead.
Right. I mean, yeah, I can show you from the New Testament, but if you don't believe in the New Testament, wouldn't we both agree that you're wasting my time? I can show you that the Most High, as recorded in the New Testament, dealt with Yahweh Shai on many levels. When he said, he said, a voice came from heaven. This is my beloved Son in whom I am well pleased.
Hear ye him.
Hear ye him.
It doesn't say who that voice belongs to. It just says a voice. It doesn't say the voice of the Lord.
Actually, it does say that. It says, Jesus is telling you throughout all of the Gospels that his Father is who we know as God. He has said it throughout all the Gospels. So if the Gospels writers have somebody say, this is my beloved Son in who I am well pleased, hear ye him, why would we think it's anybody but God? He wasn't the son of an angel.
Well, I mean, I can answer that a few different ways. I don't know.
Well, who
according to Deuteronomy 18 and 20. Go ahead.
No, I'm not talking about Deuteronomy 18. I'm asking you, who does the Gospels writers say that was Jesus' father? Who do they say was Jesus' father?
I mean, if they believe in him, of course they're gonna say it was the Most High, the power of the Old Testament.
I mean, it's not about
what else would they say?
You believe it or not. It's not about whether you believe it or not. It's what it says. See, you don't have to believe something to acknowledge that it says something or don't say something.
But see, you're not acknowledging that 1 John says it's a commandment to believe in his name.
There were commandments. Listen, there are commandments. You ain't understanding me. See, you hold to the
I'm listening to you, brother. I'm listening to you. You can come out of the. I'm listening to you.
Listen. You hold to a certain view that I don't hold to, and it's like you saying because I hold to this view, I'm going to hold you to that view. I don't hold to.
No, I'm asking you your point of view on it.
I'm giving you my point of view. I'm listening to your point of view, and I'm giving you mine. I don't hold to the view that 1 John 3 and 23 is a violation of the Tanakh. That's what you're reading into that, and that's what you're standing on, and you're trying to say as long as it says about a commandment, and this is after Tanakh, then guess what? This adding to the Tanakh. But this is a commandment that comes from the Messiah, and once you understand from the Tanakh and from the New Testament the authority that the Messiah had, then you can understand how he could give commandments. But because you don't subscribe to that belief and probably never really researched it, you can't see it. So all you see is, hey, Tanakh say don't add, don't take away. He's saying something right here.
That's not true. You ain't got to, hold on, fam. You're not going to downplay my research. I'm in this book. I respectfully, I
said you may not. I didn't say you definitely didn't. So
all right, I'm saying according to first. All right, this is my point. If I read this verse here, if I read 2 Chronicles 7:14, if my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land. If I do everything in this verse according to the New Testament, I'ma still die because nowhere in that verse does it say anything about a son of God for me to call on his name, for my sins to be forgiven, for anything.
So you start reading after 2 Chronicles? That's what you did? You start reading after 2
No,
Chronicles?
I'm saying if I listen to what the Most High says right there, the Most High said something.
But what about all the stuff the Most High said about the Messiah? You don't think he's going to have any? If he's a king, if the Messiah is going to be a king,
I asked you about that. Say it again. You can.
If the Messiah is going to be a king, don't a king give commandments? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now, this is what 1 John 3 and 23 says, and this is his commandment, that we should believe on the name, which means the authority. You know that means authority, right? Of his son, Jesus Christ. Now, do you believe that whoever the Messiah will be, that God will tell people to listen to him?
I heard I believe whoever the Messiah would be, and you kind of chopped up.
Okay, do you believe that whoever the Messiah will be, that the Father or God or the Most High God of Israel is going to command us to listen to him?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so all this is saying is they already believed that the Messiah had come, and whoever he is saying, and this is his commandment, that we should believe on the name, that means the authority. Jesus said, all power, same Greek word, authority, is given me in heaven and earth. So the Messiah is going to have a position of power, and the commandment, and look what else he says, and this is the commandment, that we should believe on the name of his Son, Jesus Christ, and love one another as he gave us commandments. I can show you in the Tanakh where it tells us we're supposed to love one another. So all I'm saying this is saying
you can't show me that. Yeah, you're right. You can show me that, but you can't show me that name.
I'm not looking for no name. I'm not looking for a name.
But that's what the commandment is, brother. Hold on. So without this New Testament,
listen, you don't understand. Listen, what I'm telling you is this. You just said, listen to what you just said. You just said that you believe that whoever the Messiah will be, God will want us to listen to him. Did you not just say that?
Yes, sir.
So if
you let me talk, though, because I'm letting you speak, but it's like you just keep on speaking.
No,
go ahead.
Because you cut me off. So if I believe that Jesus is the Messiah, then what's wrong with this passage if it's just saying this is commandment that we should believe on his authority? In other words, the authority that God gives the Messiah. Everybody knows that God will give the Messiah authority and he will teach the people his laws. That's what it says in the Tanakh. That's what the Messiah is going to do. But you don't believe in Jesus, so what you're trying to say is, I can't see that. Whoever the Messiah will be, bro, when he is revealed, if you believe he's to come, this commandment, what you're reading here, this concept is still going to apply to whoever that is, because if it's his Messiah, whatever he commands you to do, don't you got to listen? Do you believe that when the Messiah comes, you're going to have to follow him? And whatever he says,
all right.
Do you believe that?
All right, hold on, because all right, I want to ask something real quick, because I answered a few of yours.
I mean, yes or no first. Yes or no first.
You keep saying when the Messiah come. Hold on. You keep saying when the Messiah come. All of the prophets, they prophesied about a Messiah coming, right? All right, I'm saying I just answered a lot of your questions, brother, and I was humble and I let you speak. All the prophets in the Old Testament, they spoke about a Messiah coming, right?
Yeah. I
okay.
answered the question, and then you paused.
All right. So when your Messiah came, why didn't he fulfill all of those prophecies that they spoke of? Like, why does he have to come back?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Because the same reason why in Deuteronomy 28, all prophecy is not necessarily fulfilled all at once. Were all the prophecies in Deuteronomy 28 concerning the curse of Israel, were they all fulfilled all at once, or were they fulfilled over the course of thousands of years?
The curses are not messianic prophecies, fam. The curses are generational.
I'm not talking about messianic prophecies. I'm talking about prophecies, period.
But you're talking about curses that are generational, that go from generation to generation.
No. I'm talking about prophecy, period. You're trying to limit what I'm saying.
All right, I'm going to say give me an example, because when people use...
Okay, I'm giving you an example. In Deuteronomy 28, I'm giving you an example. In Deuteronomy 28, you read the curses in Deuteronomy 28. Were all of those curses fulfilled all at once, or did the prophecy fulfill itself over the succession of hundreds and thousands of years? Which one happened?
Over the procession of hundreds and thousands of years.
So, if you understand the Messiah is a living parable for the whole nation of Israel. So, things concerning him, just like things concerning Israel, will not necessarily all be fulfilled at once. Even the prophets don't tell you that the Messiah will fulfill everything at once. That stuff is scattered all over the place. You can't read the prophets and honestly tell me that you can see just from reading the prophets, here a little, there a little, right here and right there, that you know that all of this stuff is supposed to take place in an instant. You can't read the Tanakh and tell me that you can see in the Tanakh that all this stuff is supposed to happen in an instant. So there's nothing you can do to show me from the Tanakh that the Messiah is supposed to do it all at once. So I don't subscribe to that belief. So I don't see that in the Tanakh, but I do believe the New Testament, and I see partial fulfillment and later fulfillment. And there are passages in the Tanakh concerning the Messiah that talks about him dying. And I can show you in another class that that's how that was historically understood.
So you're week.
Exactly. So you're still waiting on a Messiah to come and die, whether you realize it or not. But yet you're waiting on the Messiah that's going to come and rule too. So how's he going to do both? Is he going to die first and then rule, or rule first and then die? Will it be two individuals, or will it be the same individual? These are the problems that the historians were struggling with, because they could see that the Messiah would not do everything in one fell swoop. They understood that before the New Testament came. And LeVar even got the information showing you that even some of the non-Messianics, the Tanakh only, believe that the Messiah already came and coming back. But we ain't going to go there. Let's go to
just letting y'all know, we do got some more callers standing by, so whenever you're ready, you can take them.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, like I was saying, and I understand the brother's argument and his view, and that's fine, but let's not get too far off track, because he did exactly what we said they're going to do. We're showing you from the Tanakh that the Messiah would be one of David's descendants. And what did he do? He called in trying to find fault with something in the New Testament. I want y'all to pay attention to this pattern. This is what I want y'all to do. We're going to let this guy be the trendsetter. So every time one of them call in, watch how they don't deal with this stuff being messianic. They're going to try to go to the New Testament and throw you off. Let's keep it let's keep it focused. Because he didn't call in and say, well, brother, I believe the Messiah is going to be David. And this is why.
Well, Josh, I got one question real quick before we go to the next caller. What was his response about Purim? Because that's not in Torah. What was his response?
He said it wasn't commanded to be kept. But this is not. But see, this is the problem with what he's reading in 1 John 3:23. This is what he's saying. And this is his commandment, right? That we should believe on the name of his son, Jesus Christ. This is the Father's commandment, right? Yes. This is something that was revealed later. It's not going to be in the Tanakh if it's a later revelation. Revelation occurs in steps. That's what people don't get. People think God giving all of you at once.
And then technically, if you want to be technical, God, and this is his commandment. He actually commanded that in Deuteronomy chapter 18.
Right. But look what else it says, though. But check out what else it says. That we should believe on the name of his son, Jesus Christ, just means his authority, right? That's what that means. Yep. Love one another as he gave us the commandment. Now, the brother admitted that whoever he thinks the Messiah is, God is going to command us to listen to him because he's going to have authority. Now, the brother agreed with me on that. But because he don't believe in Jesus, he's trying to act like he don't understand what this is saying. All this is saying is the Father commanded us to believe in the authority that he gave his son and tell one another, which, by the way, you find in the Tanakh. But you're not going to find that specifically the name in the Tanakh because the name hasn't been revealed. But you can read in the Tanakh where it's heavily implied that the Messiah would have authority and that he's going to be judging the world, meaning he's going to have some type of authority over them because you can't judge over nobody unless you got authority, and that people are going to have to listen to him because he's going to be a king. And kings have authority, and they make rules. Everybody know that.
Well,
so this is not contradicting anything.
Well, I got another question because we know that the sons of God were his malach, his angels, his messengers. Didn't he give them authority? And did the people have to listen to them? In fact, didn't he give the malach the authority to give Moses the 10 Commandments?
Yep.
Okay, so where's the contradiction here?
Oh, what about, wait a minute. How about in Judges? Right? Let's turn to Judges chapter 2. Let's turn to this right here.
Double-edged sword, people.
That's what I'm saying. These people, they don't read the Tanakh. Yeah, that's all it is. They don't read the Tanakh. This is Judges chapter 2. Let me get that with you. Judges chapter 2. And y'all know the angels were called sons of God. Y'all know that. Mm-hmm. This is Judges chapter 2. Read verse 1.
Hold on, go ahead and read it, bro.
Go ahead and read that. Oh, you need that, LeVar?
No, I ain't there. Go ahead.
Okay, look at this. Yeah, read that, Antoine. Give me that.
All right. Judges 1 and what?
Yeah, 2 and 1. Judges 2 and 1.
Oh, sorry, 2 and 1. Judges chapter 2, verse 1. And an angel of the Lord came up from Gilgal to Bosham and said, I made you to go up out of Egypt and have brought you unto the land which I swear unto your fathers. And I said, I will never break my covenant with you.
Mm-hmm. Now, hold on. This is an angel talking like he's God himself.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Because of the authority that he got. But keep reading, though.
Verse 2. And ye shall make no league with the inhabitants of this land. Ye shall throw down their altars, but ye have not obeyed my voice. Why have you done this?
He said, you have not obeyed my voice. Why have you done this? Now, do me a favor. Go back to Exodus 23. They have like this concept started with Jesus. See, this brother don't read the Tanakh. I'm going to show him that he don't. See, this is what happens when you try to call in and get away from the topic and try to sidetrack people and attack the New Testament. Notice the brother have nothing to say about whether David would be the Messiah to come or his descendant. He ain't got nothing to say about that.
Yeah, I'd love to hear
these guys are snakes. Why you can't deal with the topic, bro? I'm sorry. That's how I see y'all. It's simple as that. Do you believe the Messiah would be David or one of his descendants? I want to hear that first before anybody asks me about anything else. You can ask me about something else. I'm not restricting you to just the topic only. But the topic first. Then ask me anything else you want. I got to lay the law down like that, Sal, because these guys will buck dance all night. So if you ain't going to ask about the topic, address the information or the scriptures, then don't call in. But you ask me anything you want only after you deal with the topic at hand. Agreeing, telling me why, or disagreeing, telling me why. But you're going to deal with the topic tonight. This is Exodus 23. Give me verse on, let me get that with you. 20 and 21. Tell me how this reads. Go ahead. And then we'll take the next caller, Sal. Then we'll take the next call after this. Go ahead.
Exodus 23 and verse 20. Behold, I send an angel before thee to keep thee in the way and to bring thee into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgression, for my name is in him.
Oh, look, my name is in him? That's the same thing, my authority. All he is telling you is that I gave this angel authority to tell you what to do. That's all 1 John 3 and 23 is saying.
Yep.
This is the commandment that I gave, that you should believe in his name. What does that mean? The authority of the Messiah. So God can give angels authority and put his name in them, meaning give them his authority, but he can't give the most elevated person in Hebrew belief authority to tell nobody to do nothing.
One more quick question, Josh. Aren't the angels considered gods?
And they're called gods and sons of God. So This is a son of God with authority being put in him. And he said, obey his voice. So how come this brother act like he can't see the concept of God sending somebody with his name in him, and he's talking like the commandments are his own? That's why Jesus said, if you love me, keep my commandments. What the angel say in Judges chapter 2? Why have you not obeyed my voice? You broke my covenant. That's an angel talking.
Sound like the Most High, didn't he?
He's talking like he's the Most High because of the authority bestowed upon him. Brother, you're an amateur. You don't know your Tanakh. That's like I told you. But say I'll open to the next person.
Double-edged sword, man.
Double-edged sword all day.
All right, we're going to go to the next call. I believe it's my brother from Australia, 1614. What's going on? 1614. Can you hear me?
Shalom, your brother. Can you hear me?
We hear you.
What's going on? How you doing?
What's going on, Brother Josh, Antoine LeVar? This Brother Dre. Yeah, I'm calling from out back, man. It's real early, so excuse my voice, man. We're 12 hours ahead, so I'm struggling.
What's going on, Dre, man? Good to hear from you.
Good day, Mike.
Yeah. What's going on, fellas? I just got a couple quick questions, man. I'm trying to stay in perimeter of the topic, so just bear with me. I'm going to go to Psalms chapter 142 right quick. In verse 1, it says, a Mashiach of David. It's Psalms 142, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
It says a Mashiach of David. To my understanding, that's a poem, a psalm, a text, etc. It says a prayer when he was in the cave. And I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to go over to Psalm 143. It says a psalm of David. And this is verse 1. It says, hear my prayer. Now, my first question is, are these two prayers of David?
That's what it says. Yes.
Okay, so if one wants to use the logic to say Psalm 72 says the prayers of David are ended, which is all it could mean at most, how can they do that when Psalm 142 and 143 says this?
I hear you, Dre, but I'm not going to go there because I don't want the brother who I debated on this. And no, y'all see what I'm doing too, right? I could jump on this, and the brother not here who I debated, Chris Harris, so I'm not going to let nobody call in and throw stuff. I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but throwing stuff out there that has anything to do with our debate. So I'm not going to do that.
I understand.
You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
But I see your point, and I'm pretty sure other people caught the point. I know LeVar caught it. He laughing like crazy over there. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah.
Right.
You know, but I want to stay on the topic
I'm only saying that to say,
is the Messiah David. So what?
Right. But I'm only saying that to say because if we're dealing with like is the Messiah a descendant of David, Psalms 110 could be one of the scriptures to validate that stance. Would that be correct?
Yeah, it could be, and I can do a whole lesson on that. But I purposely left that out again, out of respect for my opponent, because I don't want him to think I'm coming on here and I'm still trying to win a debate that I believe I already won. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's why I ain't even putting it in here.
I wanted to make sure.
You know what I'm saying?
I just wanted to make sure I wasn't, brushing up on that understanding, because if I'm discoursing with one and I am using Psalms 110 to validate the same topic in discussion with a brother or sister, then they couldn't use Psalm 72 to defend that stance, which would take me back to the original question. Then, well, why do you automatically dismiss Psalms 110 as being a writing of David if you can't validate that David did not actually write that? But obviously, I do definitely agree.
Well, what I do, if I have time, Dre, if I have time, I just show the people from the book of Psalms itself that it's not in chronological order. I prove that from the book of Psalms itself. How about that?
I mean, that'll work. I appreciate that. And I don't want to put it out there, too. Yeah, I definitely don't got a problem with Chris. You know what I'm saying? I've discussed with the brother as well, and I do believe he's a good brother, you know what I mean? So I'm definitely not calling in the best Chris or no one else, but I've heard that thing come from multiple individuals, so I did just want to, put that out there and make sure I was understanding 143 and 142 correct. But I appreciate the information. Hey, Antoine, I appreciate you, brother. Love how you doing your thing, Brother Josh, as always. Keep it coming, man.
No, hey, man, it's good to hear from you, brother, too, man.
No doubt.
Take it easy down there.
I'll be back soon. Shalom, fella.
All right, peace.
Land down under. That's where he at.
Shalom, Maki.
All right, we're going to go to the next call out here. Let's go to 252-544. Live on air.
Shalom alaikum. This is Brother Raheem.
Oh, my Allah. Whoa.
Raheem.
My heart just skipped a beat, dude.
Peace, Brother Josh.
Hey, I got to say it right now. Sal, get Raheem's contact information from him because his old number, I don't got it no more. I don't even think it worked no more. I got to connect that with the brother. But go ahead, brother. Good to hear from you.
Oh man, I didn't catch everything, but I was listening to the conversation. I had some time lost, so I said let me check in and see what's going on. I saw you up, so I said, oh yeah, must be interesting. So I just chimed in, but it's good to hear y'all still doing your thing and y'all up in spirit and everything. So I said I'm gonna just chime in real quick. But what is basically the topic like? Was David supposed to be the Messiah or whatever? What's the topic?
Well, basically, did the ancient Hebrews believe that the Mashiach or Messiah would be David returning, or would it be one of his descendants? And we're just showing from all non-Christian historical sources and religious sources that everybody unanimously believed that the Messiah would be a descendant of David.
Gotcha. So,
and as a Muslim, you also have to believe that Jesus is the Mashiach because it says it in the Quran.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Of course. That's why I was trying to figure out. So are you saying that the Mashiach or Messiah or Masih, as they say also, would come from David but not David himself?
Exactly. It would be a descendant of David. Now, that's not taking away anything from David because David was like a prototype for the Mashiach, right? But he is not the prophesied Messiah that all of ancient Israel was waiting to come. He is not, and nobody understood it that way, except these Tanakh only Hebrews today. Not all of them, but a lot of them.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I've studied the Bible, and I've never seen where it was basically saying that he was supposed to be the coming Messiah. So who's basically who believes that David is supposed to be the
some Tanakh only Hebrews. And if you get off, someone probably gonna call in. I want to see if someone gonna call in.
Well, yeah, because I want. It's interesting. I want to see or hear what they gotta say. But it's good hearing from y'all. Y'all gonna hear from me again. And I'm gonna just tune in and listen to it.
Good
I'm gonna share that with you. Yeah, man. Yeah, Raheem Ali, man. He's another one that's been here, from season 2. Debate Talk for you, man. Good to hear from you, my brother. Good to hear from you.
Oh,
man.
yeah, definitely. Yeah. Oh, definitely. Sal, I'll send you my info tomorrow through email. I still got your contact and all that. Yeah.
All right, man. I appreciate you, my man. Appreciate you. Surprisingly, nobody else is pressing number 1 at this time. But again, the phone lines is open, people. You know that number, 319-527-6239. simply press number 1, and we'll bring you in the conversation. Yeah, well, nobody else pressing number 1 at this time, so
okay, let's get back to it. Yeah, we'll get back to it. And you're saying surprisingly. We ain't surprised. Me and LeVar and Antoine already said this was going to happen. But Sal, watch when you upload this bad boy to YouTube. All the cockroaches going to come out.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? All of them going to be all over the place. Because, see, this is what always happens. You know, we're going to get back into it now. So if you press 1 now, you'll just have to wait till we open up again. We're going to get back into it. But the only Hebrew who called in, let the record show that he did exactly what we said he was going to do. He went and attacked the New Testament. These guys are textbook.
Yep.
The textbook. And then we saw them the same concept in the Tanakh. So that's a double-edged sword. Right? God has been giving commandments to his sons of God. Right? The Messiah was considered to be the greatest of anybody, even the angels. I can show you that from a non-Christian perspective. You know what I mean? And it was already believed that the Messiah would have absolute authority. I can't get into all of this now. I'll give y'all more. Please believe me. I'm cutting stuff out of this lesson when I'm going out there. Man, we ain't going to have time for all this.
Yeah,
but
got trim the fat.
Exactly. But check this out. Because we read in the Dead Sea Scrolls how they call him the branch and it's meant to his seed, making a reference back to Isaiah 53. Right? Don't make us do a whole lesson on that. Oh, my God. But let's go to Isaiah chapter 4. All these non-Christian messianic interpretations of the Tanakh. And all y'all want to do is pretend like Josh is on religion. I'm taking you to your history. You the Hebrew Israelite. You should be teaching me this.
Yep.
A Hebrew Israelite that don't understand his own history. That's a shame. Y'all should be breaking me off on this. Y'all should know about all this stuff. This is not Tanakh that we're reading, but it's part of Israel's history. Don't you even care how your Hebrew forefathers understood this stuff? You don't believe in the New Testament, so you can search that. Don't you want to know what people thought about this stuff before you got to it? Don't you want to know what the experts? You know, the further you go back, the closer you get to the truth, or the closer you get to the truer understanding. So how come as far as we go back, everybody messianic? Come on, y'all. Isaiah 4, we're going to read one verse, and we're going back to that stone. Believe that after we read it here. Everybody quiet now. What a shock, Sal. Surprisingly. Yeah, right, Sal. Surprisingly. What a shock. Sal, it's up. I've been getting calls like crazy. Why we ain't getting calls like crazy? We here. We right here. So we open up again. I want somebody to call in, elder or student, and show me that I'm wrong about these messianic interpretations referring to the descendant of David and not David himself. And I'm taking you on your own turf. We in your own Stone's edition. But this is Isaiah 4 and verse 2. When you get there, read, please. Just that one verse.
Isaiah chapter 4 and verse 2, and it reads, "In that day shall the branch of the Lord be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely for them that are escaped of Israel."
Now look what it says. In that day shall the branch of the Lord be beautiful and glorious. We already know from reading the Dead Sea Scrolls, from reading Psalms, edition, Tanakh, commentary. We already know that's the Messiah. You said what?
The Targums.
The Targums. We already know this is the Messiah, right? All of this is, see, I'm only in the Tanakh. I'm not running to my New Testament, my book of idolatry, as I like to call it, my Greek book, as I like to call it. I'm only in the Tanakh in Hebrew history. What's your excuse now? I'm even in your new book of choice. Still got a problem, right? Okay, this is Isaiah 4. And yeah, I'm talking mad junk because y'all talk big after we leave. Y'all wanna debate when somebody can't say nothing back. That's what y'all want to do. Y'all don't want to talk in real time about this stuff. You know what I'm saying? All the same people pop out. All the same people pop out. They know who they are. Press 1. All y'all, I go on Sal Channel, David coming back. The Messiah is David. Everything speaks about David. Okay, Sal, I'm going to do a class this Friday on the very topic that everybody want to go back and forth on your YouTube channel about. And here we are, and what a shock. Nobody is calling in representing the Tanakh argument that this is David. What a shock.
Now, y'all scroll down on this YouTube video and look at all the sour comments that you get. Just look right now. I'm saying it right now because he's going to upload it. Look at all the sour comments. No scholarship. Zero scholarship. No scholarship.
And if y'all want to blame anybody, blame Sal. That's right. I said you, Sal. You know why? Because you already don't snitched on them, saying they've been calling you like crazy. Well, they don't snitch on them now. They can't be like, man, we weren't studying that job, man. Josh is out there by himself. We ain't listening to him. No, you already don't snitch them out, Sal. You ain't calling nobody's name because that ain't the way you get down. But you already don't put them out there. But now when the show starts, everybody quiet, crickets. Frogs croaking in the swamp. But here it is, Isaiah 4 and verse 2. In the Stone Edition, look what it says. On that day, Hashem, the name, Hashem's sprout will come forth for splendor and honor of the land will be for pride and glory for the survivors of Israel. Let's go to the good old faithful commentary of the Stone Edition, and let's see how they interpreted this. Because when you go to the New Testament, this is interpreted messianically. Let's see what they thought it was, right? Isaiah 4:2 commentary. Once the above punishments have been carried out, providing atonement for Israel's sins, the messianic era will begin. The Messiah is referred to as a sprout and fruit of the land, which goes back to him being the sprout or branch of David. Mm-hmm. And they said his commentary is right back. So notice when he keeps saying that sprout, they let you know it's going back to believing it's a descendant of David.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's referring to. Oh, but don't worry. I know y'all waiting. Ooh, I'm going to take him to Ezekiel. Ooh, it say David. Ooh, Hosea say David. Yes, we going to go there. Don't worry. Y'all know I don't run from nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But let's keep it moving. Now, let's go to Jeremiah 23 and 5, LeVar. People playing. People playing games. Well, they want us to think that we just got mind control of people. Like we don't prove every single thing we say. Even the brother who called in representing to not only argument said himself that whoever the Messiah will be, because we don't believe in Jesus, so it got to be somebody yet to come. God will command us or want us to listen to him. And then I go read that in 1 John. He had like you don't understand that. Well, we believe Jesus is the Messiah, and that's all they're saying. That we're supposed to listen to God's chosen one. He has authority.
I'm still trying to figure out what did the Messiah say there that contradicted the Torah anyway.
Exactly. And he even told you to follow the Torah. That's Matthew 5:17. Think not that I have come to destroy the Torah. The Messiah was Torah observant. He was a false prophet. We can deal with you on that too, but we can't give it all to you at once. All I want somebody to do is call in and try to attack that the Messiah would be the son of David. That's what I want somebody to do. Bring your cell phone off the hook, and then when we come on here, y'all ain't got nothing to say. Come on, man. Debate Talk for you audience, for the most part, we know y'all got our back. We know that. I ain't stupid. I know most of the people are with us. I know that. But maybe now our opponents can see why. Because that's what y'all do when we come out. What do you expect these people to do? You think they're going to run behind you and you cowering behind a computer screen? Talking all this stuff after we leave you? And don't nobody want to follow no weak, scared leader. Y'all talking all this mess. Here we are right now. Come and show us that based on history and the Tanakh, we wrong. You ain't going to do it. So I don't want to hear nothing else. Y'all can post whatever you want to. Anybody who's listening to this now on YouTube, when it's on YouTube, tell anybody who got something to say, if you follow ABT or agree with us, say, no, don't say nothing now. Hashtag this phrase. No, don't say nothing now. That's what y'all need to hashtag that. Make that a hashtag. Don't wait till it get uploaded and it's no longer live. Now you got all this stuff to say. Y'all know how I go. I got mind control over Debo. He be like, shut up. I be quiet. But when he leaves, I be talking again. Come on, man.
That's exactly how it is.
That's exactly how it is. And I ain't trying to say we bullies or nothing like Debo, but that's the same concept.
No, we ain't bullies. It's those guys that be all over social media bullying babes in Christ who don't really know their book. That's who the real Bible bullies is. We don't be looking for no trouble. They be going after weak Christians, man. Let's just keep it real.
Exactly. But this is Jeremiah 23. Read verses 5 and 6. Because we already don't establish who the branch is. We know who that is. Read that, please.
Jeremiah 23 and verse 5. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will raise unto David. I got to repeat that again, Josh.
Please do.
Wax in their ears when they read this verse. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch. And the king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. Verse 6. In his days Judah shall be saved, and Israel shall dwell safely. And this is his name whereby he shall be called, the Lord our righteousness.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Whoa. The Lord our righteousness, Yahweh, or Yahuwah our righteousness?
Yahuwah, Yahweh, yeah, exactly.
A man is going to be known as this? Well, that's not new to us. Because, you said, go ahead, LeVar, go ahead.
Jeremiah said, we ain't said it. Jeremiah said it.
Jeremiah said that. But wait, LeVar. Let's read the same thing out the Stone's edition. Because, that's their weapon of choice.
Yes, sir.
Let's read that. Jeremiah 23, and we're going to read verses 5 and 6. Behold, days are coming. The word of Hashem, meaning the name, that's what a tetragrammaton is. And I will establish a righteous sprout from David. That reads even better in the Stone edition Tanakh.
I 100% agree.
Look what it says. But we already knew that because we read in Dead Sea Scrolls, read in the Targums. Right? Come on. Look what else it says. A king will reign and prosper, and he will administer justice and righteousness in the land. In his days, Judah will be saved, and Israel will dwell securely. This is the name people will call him. Hashem is our righteousness. Even the Stone edition cannot agree that he's going to have the name Father in him.
In him, and there it is.
But yet, you in the New Testament, why we got to believe on the name of the Lord Jesus? And it says his name is in him. He's going to bear that tetragon family name, which means he has the authority of the family of Elohim.
They don't understand that at all. You repeat what you just said so they can.
That means he's going to have that name because he's going to have the same authority as the Elohim. Nobody in the Tanakh other than angels will ever specifically call the Lord Yahweh or Yahuwah our righteousness. And this is a man. But if I call him Yahweh, I'm calling him God.
Exactly.
But when we tell you the Messiah is God, oh, God, y'all pagan, all that pagan stuff, your old Tanakh said he will be called Yahuwah or Yahweh or Ahaya if you roll with the GOCC.
I just don't get it, John. I don't know nowhere we can find anywhere we see Zeus keeping the Sabbath.
No, you can't.
I don't understand how y'all keep saying we worship Zeus. Y'all, somebody riding a slow bus, bro.
Right. This is in the Stone edition Tanakh. Even they translated it to mean that he will bear the name of the Heavenly Father. And this is messianic. You trying to tell me David is going to be called that? Can anybody show me anywhere in the Tanakh where David would be called the Lord our righteousness? This is messianic. We ain't went to the New Testament yet.
They going there.
Y'all going to the New Testament. You Tanakh only. Don't read nothing. If you Tanakh only, I don't want to hear nothing from you out of the New Testament until you will deal with this first.
Bruh, it is quite evident that they don't understand it. Once again, like you just demonstrated with the brother that called in, y'all don't understand the New Testament.
You don't. You don't, man. These people are not educated. They don't know any better. They're sitting under people who are uneducated, and they're just spreading the ignorance. That's all they're doing.
Make no mistake about it. And I hope one of those not only really get this. Y'all bored. Y'all get the same lessons over and over and over and over and over. You're not growing.
At all. You're not growing at all. We showing you this from the Tanakh. All you trying to do is find fault with Jesus. We already know you don't believe in Jesus. Y'all don't beat that dead horse beyond death. Now let's deal with this Tanakh. You Tanakh only. You mean to tell me when y'all doing y'all thing, y'all go out on the streets, y'all trying to save the people, trying to save Israel, all you want to do is bash the New Testament? You ain't telling them y'all need to be keeping these laws.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all need to repent and turn from sin.
They ain't doing it themselves.
Y'all ain't doing it yourselves.
Are you
Stumbling block.
Don't even get me started, bro. Please don't
Right.
get me started.
Yeah.
But it's all good, though. But let me show you where the confusion comes in at. This is my favorite point, right? This is what I've been waiting to do. Let's go to Jeremiah 30. See, this is where they get confused at. And if you just pay enough attention, just enough, you'll see what's going on. Jeremiah 30, and when you get there, brother, give me verses 8 to 10.
Well, we stand in Jeremiah too. Love Jeremiah. Jeremiah chapter 30, verse number 8. For it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, that I will break his yoke off thy neck, and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him.
Mm-hmm.
Verse number 9. But they shall serve the Lord their God, and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them.
Uh-oh. That's it right now. See, David coming back.
Game over.
Game over for you New Testament Christians, for you Messianic. Game over. This is what they'll do. See, I told you I was going to deal with them. Don't worry. But read verse 10. Let's get the context of something. Read verse 10.
Jeremiah 30, verse 10. Therefore, fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord. Neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity, and Jacob shall return, and shall be in rest, and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid.
Now notice it tells you that at the same time that God is going to raise up David, their king, that's what it says. It says David going to be quiet, and none shall be in rest and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. Go back and read Jeremiah 23. Let me show y'all something, how they be forgetting what they read. Jeremiah 23 and read verse 6. Read verse 6.
Jeremiah 23, verse, his days, Judah saved, and Israel shall dwell safely. And this is his name whereby he shall be called, Yahweh or Yahuwah, our righteousness.
Now notice it says in verse 6, in his day Judah shall be saved. But in Jeremiah 30 and verse 11, verse 10, it says, I will save thee from afar off, and I will save thee. Remember, in his day Judah shall be saved, right? I will save thee from afar off, and thy seed from the land of their captivity, and Jacob shall return, and shall be in rest, and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. This is the same thing as saying Judah and Israel will dwell safely.
That's what it says.
But in Jeremiah 23 and 6, 5 and 6, it says the branch raised unto David will do this. But in Jeremiah 30 and verses 8 and 9, it says David himself. Put 2 and 2 together, sisters and brothers, because both of them ain't going to do it. David is referring to that branch. That became the name, the prototypical name for the Messiah, and I'm going to prove that to y'all. You think Jeremiah forgot already who he just told you was going to do this, and then 7 chapters later make it be somebody else? Well, let me tell y'all off some more. Let's go to Jeremiah 33. So first we went to the branch raised into David, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we just read David himself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now let's go to Jeremiah 33. Jeremiah must couldn't make up his mind. Jeremiah 33, 14 and 15. Read that, please, LeVar.
Jeremiah 33 and 13?
14 and 15. 14 and 15.
Okay. Jeremiah 33 and 14. And thus read, Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will perform that good thing, which I have promised unto the house of Israel and unto the house of Judah.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 15. In those days and at that time, I will cause the branch of righteousness to grow up unto David, and he shall execute judgment and righteousness in the land.
Wait a minute. Did Jeremiah forget? First, it was a branch unto David. Then it's David himself. Now it's back to a branch unto David. What's going on here? Is this a contradiction in the Tanakh?
I don't think so.
No, it's not. What you don't understand is first he lets you know in Jeremiah 23 that one of David's descendants is going to be doing this. Then in Jeremiah 30, he calls his descendant David himself because in ancient Israel, we know that you carry the name of your household.
Thank you.
Yep.
This ain't talking about David himself. That's why Jeremiah went right back and let you know again, I'm talking about a branch unto David. Otherwise, he would have kept saying David, David, David over again. Even if he did, he still already set the groundwork for you, letting you know a branch. Isaiah said the same thing, a branch. They all understood this. But you are so ignorant and unlearned in your Tanakh, you got threw out by this. And now you seeing David, and you waiting on David to come back and save you. No. Jeremiah went right back behind that 3 chapters later and let you know a branch unto David. So when it says David, it's not talking about David himself no more than when you read about Israel, is it talking about Jacob, the individual. It's about the people from that household.
Now, Josh, I got a question again.
Go ahead.
Now, from what we've been reading in the Targums and all these ancient interpretations, isn't this the understanding that they understood this by what you just explained? David is a euphemism for the Messiah.
Exactly. He's a euphemism for the Messiah, which is why nowhere in Hebrew history will you read that anybody was waiting on David to come back and save them. If that's how they understood it, you would see that in the Old Testament, even in the New Testament, but being corrected by people who promote Jesus.
That's right.
This is not hard. This is not hard.
That's the problem that y'all having. You're not reading this stuff all the way through. Jeremiah didn't forget what he just said. He let you know first. Branch of David. Isaiah said it before him, the branch. All of these people interpret this messianic. We went to the Targums. We went to the Dead Sea Scrolls. Everybody saying branch of David, branch of David, branch of David. Ain't nobody saying David himself but you.
Yahweh is a family name. It's the same thing with David.
Exactly. It's a family name. And it became the name for the Messiah. Nobody knew what the Messiah's name would be.
Jacob, family name. David, family name. Yahweh, family name.
Exactly. But let me take this even further, right? Because they try to pretend like they don't see this. Let's go to Hosea chapter 3. See, they didn't think we were going to go here. They thought we were going to run from that. And, of course, if you still don't agree, you got to acknowledge there's a contradiction in your Tanakh.
You got to.
So it's our way or the highway. Don't play no games. That's why the history don't got nobody waiting on day. All the rabbis understood this to be a euphemism for the Mashiach. That's why you don't read anybody waiting on no David, even though they plainly reading flat out David.
This is not hard.
But it's about the branch. That's what people don't understand. They read Isaiah 53. That's about the nation of Israel, Josh. You know what? I agree with y'all. What? Did Josh just say that Isaiah 53 is talking about the nation of Israel? I sure did. But what y'all don't understand is when you read your Tanakh, you can read plenty of times in the Tanakh where it says Israel, the nation, was going to do something, and it was fulfilled by a single individual.
Yep.
That's in the Tanakh. You can read it in the book of Joshua. It says Israel sinned by touching the accursed thing. It opens up saying Israel, the whole freaking nation. And then you keep reading, it was only Achan.
Only Achan.
Yeah. Come on, man. Yeah.
But God let one person's sin represent the entire nation, just like he let one person's righteousness represent the entire nation. This ain't hard, man. Y'all are amateurs.
Yep.
This stuff is all over the Tanakh. Ain't no New Testament. It's all the same stuff. Brother got stuck in 1 John 3:23. Just read the same thing in Judge. What is that? The 7th book of the Bible? And that's what it is. Deuteronomy 5, Joshua 6, Judges 7. Yeah, 7th book in the Bible. He never heard about God putting his name in anybody and giving them authority like they God himself. And they got their own commandments. He ain't never read that. 7 books in the Tanakh. It ain't buried somewhere back there in Ezekiel 30. That's the 7th book, and you ain't never read that. Because you're not reading. You're just sitting now in front of these ignorant elders with a blank expression on your face, being a human tape recorder.
That's it. Parroting.
That's all you're doing. And then you get mad at us because I teach people to read and research. Don't believe me. Go behind me. And that's why they not calling in, because they know they online. Don't act like they don't be trying to check behind us either. They ain't that stupid. They behind us, because you know they want to catch me flipping. They can't wait. So you better believe they fact-checking everything I say, and they finding the same stuff, which is why they not calling in. But y'all know good well if I was nutting up, them guys would have been called in and called me on my BS. Y'all know they would have did it. They know I'm telling you the truth. And they hate me for it because these people are not righteous. They'll have you leaving here mad at me, your brother, for showing you your heritage. For showing you what your forefathers believed before there was even a such thing as a New Testament. They'll have you leaving here mad at me, ready to hurt me.
Spirit of the Antichrist.
Spirit of the Antichrist, mad at me. And everything I'm showing you is coming from the Tanakh and non-Christian Hebrew interpretations of Scripture. So don't come at me telling me that, oh, you only believe the Tanakh means this because you reading that New Testament. No, that ain't the only thing I'm going by. I don't just rely on the New Testament to understand the Tanakh. I went behind the New Testament to make sure they weren't just making this stuff up. You think I didn't do that? You think I just read the New Testament? Well, it says a virgin shall be with child. A virgin shall be with child. And that's what the New Testament says. So I know it says Alma in the Old Testament. I don't heard the argument. See, I know they over there shaking down the bar because I'm breaking down the argument. You know, Alma in Isaiah chapter 9, that just means a young woman. But in the New Testament, it used the word virgin, meaning the woman that never had sex. If it meant a woman that never had sex, it would have said Bethula. No, it wouldn't have. Are y'all that dumb? Let me ask y'all a question. What word is it in Isaiah chapter 9? Oh, I think it's 7. No, it's Isaiah 7. I'm sorry. Isaiah 7.
Yeah.
Right? They'll say it's Alma. Correct. It said a virgin shall be with child. Whoever that woman was, do y'all think she had sex before? That's my question. Did she already have kids? Because if you can't read that she already had kids, that means that was her first child. And unless you can show me that she was whoring around before she did that, wouldn't that make her a literal virgin? You know, nobody be thinking like that. But then I can show you what God called the whoring nations, and the word there is Bethula. He even called Babylon the virgin daughter of Babylon. He used the word Bethula. Babylon, the mother of harlots, was called Bethula. So I can prove to you that Bethula don't even strictly mean a literal virgin. Because why is he using that word to describe a whoring nation?
Exactly. Those words are interchangeable.
Those words are interchangeable. Don't try to limit one or the other. Y'all are not ready, man. Y'all are amateurs. Come with these already year-old refuted arguments that me and the KOJ have already just dismembered. Y'all trying to breathe life back into this already debunked stuff. Come with some new stuff. Y'all just regurgitating these same old tired arguments that's already been debunked, pretending like we ain't said anything. Come on, y'all. Debate talk for you. Y'all know what time it is. Like I said, most of the audience, we know y'all with us. How I know y'all with us? Because ain't nobody calling in attacking us. So, and we got a lot of people listening. That means if you ain't saying nothing, you must like it. We know y'all got our back. We know y'all sophisticated. Y'all ain't stupid like a lot of folks who try to come here and run game on y'all. And they get mad. That's why they try. Everybody just believe whatever Josh say. Josh just say something. Everybody automatically believe it. No, they don't. They believe what I say because I prove what I say, and they go behind me. That's how I teach my people to get down at ABT. I don't want no blind followers.
And what you're doing is undermining the intelligence of other people. That's what you're really doing.
Exactly. That's all you're doing. This is Hosea, chapter 3. When you get there, LeBar, go ahead and read verses 4 and 5.
Hosea, chapter 3, verse number 4. For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king, and without a prince, and without a sacrifice, and without an image, and without an ephod, and without a teraphim.
And that's already been fulfilled. We know that. Zedekiah was the last king.
Mm-hmm.
And don't hand me no crap about no Zerubbabel, because Zerubbabel was a governor.
Not a king.
Not a king. We didn't have a Hebrew Israelite king after that.
They like to play with that scepter on there. That's what they like to do.
Right. Zerubbabel was not a king. Right? Go ahead and read.
Verse 5. Afterward shall the children of Israel return and seek the Lord their God and David their king, and shall fear the Lord and his goodness in the latter days.
Notice that the children of Israel shall return and seek their Lord their God. And we know that doesn't happen until Judah is saved. If you go back and remember what you read in Jeremiah 23 when he first laid it down, don't get confused after you read what he laid down, the foundation, because that's what they'll do. They get confused after they read the foundation. When you read Jeremiah 23, look what it says. Behold, verse 5, behold, the days will come unto the Lord that I will raise up unto David a righteous branch, and a king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. In his days, the branch that's raised unto David, his days, Judah shall be saved, and Israel shall dwell safely. And we know this is associated with them returning back to the land.
Yep.
Everybody knows that. That's why in Genesis 49, 9 to 10, it said, till Shiloh come, and to him shall the gathering of the people be. In other words, the Mashiach is going to be the one that gathers everybody back to the land.
That's what we've been reading.
Ain't nobody waiting on no David to do this. So when you go back to Hosea chapter 3 and you read verse 5, afterwards shall the children of Israel return. When are they going to return? When they dwell in safety, when the Messiah gathers them. Look what it says. And seek the Lord their God and David their king. This is not talking about the actual David. This is talking about somebody from the house of David.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's throwing you off. And if you still think, oh, that can't be it, right? Let me show you something else. Right? And then it says, in the latter days. When is the latter? Can any Tanakh only Hebrew tell me when the latter days is? You don't believe in the New Testament, so can you explain to me from the Tanakh when the latter days is? Any signs or prophecies you're willing to drop to let us know when we should expect this to start happening? You got nothing.
Yeah, we got something though.
We got plenty.
We got plenty.
Right? So let's go to Ezekiel 34. Y'all need to stop, man. This not even funny. Y'all playing with this. I'm dead serious. They playing.
Man, listen, and this is the problem, right? People think that this is like a hobby for us or something. We eat, sleep, and breathe this thing right here. We ain't playing. See, and it goes back to what we've been saying since we've been on this forum. Thank God for Sal since 2012 when he first started this forum. We are here for the people. We don't care about no glory. We don't care about no money. We don't care about no praise. Man, it's a lot of people who believe in Christ, but they just need to raise their intelligence up to another level, because it's a lot of Bible bullies out here deceiving people.
Exactly.
That's what's going on. We are here for those people who want to learn. That's what we're here for.
And I got more. I'm not even going to give it all to y'all. I got a lot more.
We're going to have to do a volume 2 to this, because it's a lot.
Why do a volume 2 when ain't nobody even going to address volume 1?
Yeah.
Well, we doing it for the Messianics then. Forget it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for their edification. You right.
Yeah,
Like my brother, who I affectionately call the Anonymous Hebrew, who called in on that show that me and Andre did about the police. This is only for the elect, as he said. That's who this for. You right. Ezekiel 34, LeVar, 22 to 24. Read that, please.
Ezekiel chapter 34, verse 22, and it reads, therefore will I save my flock.
No, 34 and I said 22. Yeah, go ahead, finish. Go ahead. That's cool. Go ahead.
Ezekiel, therefore will I save my flock, and they shall no more be a prey, and I will judge between cattle and cattle, and I will set up one shepherd over them, and he shall feed them, even my servant David. He shall feed them, and he shall be their shepherd.
Wait a minute. He said one shepherd. Mm-hmm. One. So if you try to adopt the interpretation, try to be slick and say, well, it's going to be both of them. He said one. So either it's David or the Messiah. Or Ezekiel is contradicting Jeremiah and Isaiah. One. The Messiah is not even mentioned here. You mean to tell me Ezekiel didn't know anything about the Messiah? And notice he called him a shepherd. Jesus said in the New Testament, I am the good shepherd. And I can show you in other classes how people interpreted the Messiah to be a shepherd. Non-Christian, by the way, because y'all know that's how we get down. Y'all don't want to believe in anything, messianic from the New Testament, so we'll have to show you from the Old Testament. Y'all know that, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. And that, and Josh, I gotta say, because it really just dawned on me, like how when you told the brother earlier, you was like, and I told non-messianics myself, or Tanakh only myself, like we don't need the Old Testament at all. But like, do you really think, or when you were teaching earlier, that these non-messianics, and these rabbis, these doctors, these people who were entrenched, all it was the Bible for them, were getting converted? You know what I'm saying? Using what? The Old Testament. You told them, like, these weren't written yet when he was alive. So how was they converting these people? Using the Old Testament. That's what they were using, man. That's what they were using. This is how they were getting their point across. Look, this is what this means. This is how this lined up. This is what this is. You know what I'm saying? And then, boom, that's how they were converting. Like, wow, I know this. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And if you are learning, and I remember, I can't even remember the name of the class you did years ago, but just talking about the importance of understanding the law. Why? And the law and the prophets. Why? Because the first century Christians understood the law and the prophets clearly. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't just Jesus, the one that they said was the Messiah. Around that time, a lot of people trying to pop up around during that time period saying, "Oh, I'm the Messiah. I'm the Messiah." No, I'm the Messiah. You know what I'm saying? No, they had to show and prove this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And they did it. And they weren't any fools. And you like the importance of understanding your Tanakh. You know what I'm saying? It is key, because if you do understand it, you'll start to realize that a lot of these things and these problems that the quote unquote problems they try to bring to us, they really aren't problems. Because if you're saying that's a problem, then you're dealing with, as you and Zadok did the class, a double-edged sword. Exactly. And it'll come back to bite just like it did tonight. Exactly. Brother trying to find something. Like, dude, that concept existed in the Tanakh. You know what I'm saying? And if you get an understanding on how Jesus compares to the angels, you'll look at that stuff too. You'll understand that better. You know what I'm saying? Moses was a shepherd. The Messiah, Moses was also a prototype for the Messiah. David was a prototype for the Messiah. The Messiah would take care of the flock, just like David was a literal shepherd, right? But let me show you this one, though, right? Let's go over to chapter 37.
Hey, Josh, would you agree that Israel was a prototype for the Messiah, too?
Yes, we did a whole class on that. A lot of things foreshadowed the Messiah. That's what people don't get.
Stuff, man, I'm telling you.
All these guys want to do is argue back and forth on social media. Nobody wants to listen themselves and learn. And don't act like, as a Hebrew Israelite, you don't care anything about history, because y'all the biggest history buffs I know.
Just stop cherry picking it. That's my
Stop cherry picking your history. Pick the whole tree clean. Don't just get a few cherries here and a few cherries there that you like. Strip the tree and put all the cherries in a big old basket and deal with all of them. Yeah. This is Ezekiel 37, 22 to 25. When you get there, LeVar, go ahead and read, please.
Ezekiel chapter 37, verse 22. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all.
Stop. Hold up. How many kings?
One.
So we got a contradiction if this is talking about the actual David, because we just read that the Messiah would be king. Mm-hmm. But Ezekiel is saying one king. So which one is it? You can't have it both ways. Either this is not talking about the actual David, but a prototype for the Messiah, or you got a major contradiction in your Tanakh, and you can't act like you don't see it. One king means one, not two. One. Keep reading, though.
And one king shall be king to them all,
So don't try to handle that crap about the Messiah will be king over Judah, but David will be king over Israel because he's talking about making the nation one again.
Right.
There's only one nation. So it's one nation and one king.
Right.
So all you fools that keep throwing Ezekiel 37 at me, deal with this contradiction in the Tanakh if you think this is the actual David. And we know this is talking about when Judah is saved. But keep reading, though. Go ahead.
And they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms anymore at all.
Mm-hmm.
Verse number 23. Neither shall they defile themselves anymore with their idols, nor with their detestable things, nor with any of their transgressions. But I will save them out of all their dwelling places, wherein they have sinned, and will cleanse them. So shall they be my people, and I will be their God.
This is talking about when he bring them back to the land. No Tanakh only Hebrew will argue this. Y'all know this is in the future. Y'all know this is messianic. But watch what it says, verse 24. Read that.
Verse 24. And David, my servant, shall be king over them, and they all shall have one shepherd. They shall also walk in my judgments and observe my statutes and do them.
It said, David, my servant, shall be king over them. But it just said a few verses earlier, there shall be one king. It didn't say there shall be two kings. It's not going to be a split monarchy. But everywhere else we've been reading, it says the Messiah is going to be the king. So if you get to Ezekiel and then all of a sudden start talking about one king and you're saying that's David, then that's a contradiction. That's a major contradiction, in fact, because the prophets all mixed up. They don't know if it's going to be David or his descendant. And we both know that you can't have two kings at once. That's never happened in Israel until the kingdom split.
Yep.
And the kingdom going to be back together at this time, so don't try to hand me it's going to still be a split kingdom. One king. So y'all please tell me, to not only Hebrews, who's it going to be? David or the Mashiach? And if you try to say both, nope, one king. You have no explanation for this. So finish, keep reading.
Verse 25. And they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Jacob my servant, wherein your fathers have dwelt, and they shall dwell therein, even they and their children and their children's children forever. And my servant David shall be their prince forever.
Wait a minute. My servant David shall be their prince forever. He ain't got nothing to say about the Messiah? All this messianic language, and he ain't saying nothing about the branch of David? He's doing the same thing that Jeremiah did. Jeremiah already let you know that that branch of David would be a descendant of David. And then he just called you David. He just called it plain old David in the same book of Jeremiah. Then switched it back again in the book of Jeremiah to the branch of David again. And all the other prophets just understood that when we say David, we're not talking about King David, the original King David. We're talking about the one who would be from the house of David. This is how all the ancient Hebrews understood it.
That's right.
Yeah. This is how they all understood it. Wasn't nobody waiting on King David. That fool on Sound Channel. Josh, you're going to be in trouble when King David come back. Well, in a sense, you might be right. If I'm sinning and King David does come back, it's going to be talking about the Mashiach, Jesus Christ, because that's who this is referring to right here. So you're right. I better get my act together before he comes back. But not because it's going to be the actual King David. It said one king. One. And then it says he's going to let them dwell in the land. It's the same thing you read about in Jeremiah 23. That is no doubt. But go back to Jeremiah 23 one time for me, LeVar. And we got two more after that. Then we're gonna let the crowd call in. See, these people playing games, man. I ain't got time for this. Want to argue back and forth. Don't nobody want to do no research. Everybody want to just ignore all the information. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to do that. Don't nobody want to deal with the info. I'm not wasting my time. This right here is for the elect. Like the anonymous Hebrew said, you still got to teach the elect, Josh. And he's right about that. That's who I'm interested in.
Absolutely.
All you Tanakh only Hebrews that have denied Jesus, far as I'm concerned, y'all all damned anyway. Yeah, I said it. That's what my New Testament teaches me. I'm a New Testament messianic believer. That's what it says. That's what I roll with. That don't mean you can't repent. Y'all think we damned. Y'all think we damned too. But you can't even show me in the Tanakh where I'm going to go when I die.
Right.
You can't even do that. Show me that. You know what I'm saying? Show me. From the Tanakh only. This is Jeremiah 23 again. LeVar, read verse 5 and 6 again.
Yep, got to refresh that memory.
Got to refresh that memory. Read that again, please.
Nothing wrong with that. Jeremiah 23 and 5. I love this chapter. Behold, the day comes, saith the Lord, that I will raise, here goes that word again, Josh, unto David a righteous branch. And a king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth.
It said a king. Didn't it say a king?
Said a king.
But Ezekiel said there shall be one king. Now, is it going to be the seed of David, or is it going to be actual David? And we already know branch means you can look it up in the Hebrew, you can look it up in the Greek, you can look it up in the Targum. Everybody understood that branch means descendant of. Because you're talking about a family tree. Why y'all think we call it family trees, y'all?
Oh, this is not hard, man.
You have the tree, and the branches represent everybody who grew from the root of that tree, which would be your ancestors. I mean, my God, they even got family trees, literal family trees in some of the Bibles they print. And you just fill in the gaps.
That's what they got, yeah.
You don't even understand what family tree means. Why do you think they use a tree? We people say your family tree. That is a biblical concept. Why is it called a tree? Because a tree is planted and it has branches. So if you branched out from that tree, you're considered a part of that tree or a part of that family tree. So don't tell me that branch of David means David. He can't be a descendant of himself unless, of course, you believe that he got a pre-existence. So now you got to start making them supernatural now. And some of them already tried to do that. Too bad the Tanakh don't say that, though. But finish that up, LeVar. And then we're going to go to the New Testament. The one and only time in this entire class. I will murder you in the Tanakh. I don't need the New Testament. We don't need it. I can give you the Mashiach in the Tanakh only. And you will have no choice but to accept that it's Jesus. It's at the tip of the iceberg. We got so much more in store for y'all concerning this. And that's just this. ABT got so much other stuff we'd rather be telling y'all about. I mean, we do, man. I mean, I ain't got no time for this stuff. This just these guys trying to grandstand. Because ABT and KOJ been taking a break from debate talk for you and trying to give some new brothers some time to shine, that don't went to their head. Now they think they ready to just take over.
It ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen.
Now you want to take shots at us. Dude, we just here to teach the people. But don't call our bluff, bro. Don't think we playing, bro. You might be playing. Another Friday reference, like Craig told Smoke. See, that's your problem. You playing. Ain't nobody playing but you.
Think he playing about his money?
You think he playing about his money? I got to use something secular to help y'all better understand. Y'all know that,
that's
right?
That's right.
But go ahead and finish that off.
Jeremiah 23 and verse 6. In his days Judah shall be saved, and Israel shall dwell safely. And this is his name whereby he shall be called, Yahuwah, our righteousness.
Yahuwah or Yahweh or Ahaya, I don't care what name y'all use. Yahweh, that's what the one West used. He is going to be called that. Now, explain to me why the first caller that called in stumbled at us believing on Jesus' name. That just threw him for a loop. But you go on into Tanakh and read about this guy bearing the name of the Most High God himself. But this don't trip him up. He don't stop like, wow, this blow my mind more than what I read in 1 John chapter 3:23.
No, that's not.
This don't blow your mind? This right here is a reference to that. You just cross-reference your New Testament scripture and don't even know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's letting you know the Messiah is going to have crazy authority. You got to have some crazy authority if you're called God's name itself.
Yahweh saves.
Exactly. Come on, y'all. This ain't hard. These guys are amateurs. Y'all got to get your weight up. Seriously. Calling in with these theories and personal opinions. Let's move on. Let's go to the last one. Matthew 21. We don't beat this thing enough. Matthew 21. Maybe now y'all will understand. Maybe now y'all will understand why Jesus was addressed as this in the New Testament. Matthew 21, 8 and 9, please.
Matthew chapter 21, verse number 8. And a very great multitude spread their garments in the way, cut down branches from the trees, and strawed them in the way. Verse 9. And the multitude that was before and that followed cried, saying, Hosanna, the Son of David. Blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord. Hosanna in the highest.
Now, sisters and brothers, we all know that the New Testament, whether you believe that Jesus was born of a virgin or whether you believe Joseph was his biological father, I don't care about that right now. We can both agree that when Jesus first started out, everybody called him the son of Joseph because they believed that was his actual father, right? But once he started his ministry and started gathering a following, people start calling him the son of David. Now, does any one of you, Antoine or LeVar, want to explain why they switched from the son of Joseph to the son of David? Anyone of y'all want to take a crack at that?
Because they knew.
They understood the Tanakh.
Yeah, they understood the Tanakh, and they understood
because
the
what?
reference. They understood.
It sound like y'all breaking up. Go ahead, yeah.
Can you hear me? I said because they understood the Tanakh and the references in the Tanakh when it spoke of David, it was talking about a descendant of David, meaning in a messianic sense that he was this branch, this person who was to come. So, son of David was, or the term David was after his name, but the term David itself was something messianic. So they understood, okay, somebody's coming from David. Say, oh, so he's the son of David. He's his branch. He's the one who's coming. Okay, so I'm gonna call him the son of David.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
That was a messianic title.
Yeah.
That's why they start addressing him as such.
Mhm.
Because they start believing it. Remember, at first, nobody believed in Jesus when he first started out. But once people start believing on him, they start dropping that messianic title on him, which is son of David or branch of David.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Josh, that raises another question. No, I've got questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, wouldn't it be fair to say that if you were living in the first century and you were from the stock of Judah, wouldn't you be considered a son of David or a daughter of David?
Yes.
But they all did not bear that title.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
The only time they bear that title was as a collective group when it said the house of David.
The
messianic title, son of David, they said son of David. In ancient Hebrew culture, and my Tanakh only Hebrew should know this, but they probably don't because they don't really read. Not all of them, but most of them. Y'all should know that you were addressed as the son of your immediate father.
Right.
Nobody called you the son of your ancient ancestor unless you was addressing Israel as a nation. Because we all the sons of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. But Joshua was called Joshua, the son of Nun. He was never called Joshua, son of Israel. Everybody knew he was the son of Israel because they all were.
Yep.
But you were addressed as a name as your immediate father. So why in the world would they switch Jesus up from son of Joseph to son of David? Because they believed he was that branch from David.
Thank you.
That's why they said, Hosanna. It means save us. Because they knew that a son of David would save them. Not David himself.
Yep.
Get your weight up. Your understanding is all messed up. You're listening to amateurs. Fraud. Phony. If they're telling you that we waiting on David. The actual David. And you still got to deal with that major contradiction if you still believe that's actually David. But this one more for kids. Matthew 22. Then we'll go to the phones. 41 to 45. Then we'll end it on that.
Yeah, just to let y'all know before we go there, we have like 2 minutes on the air, people. We have like 2 minutes on the air. So if you want to hear the rest of the show, you're going to have to call in 319-527-6239. Go ahead.
Okay, LeVar. 41 to 45. Now, watch the question that Jesus asked these Pharisees. And watch how they just say off the rip. 41 and 42. Read that first. Read 41 and 42.
Matthew 22 and 41. While the Pharisees were gathered together, Jesus asked them, saying, What think ye of Christ? Whose son is he? They say unto him, the son of David.
Look what happened. Even the New Testament verifies it. He said, What think ye of Christ? That's the Greek word Christos, and it is the equivalent of the Hebrew word Mashiach. So what they're asking him is, what Jesus is asking them is, what do you think of the Mashiach? Whose son is he? If they understood that King David was the Mashiach, they should have said Jesse. Watch what they say. The son of David. So when you go back and you read Matthew chapter 21, one chapter earlier, I might add, maybe now you can understand why they were saying Hosanna to the son of David. And Jesus just verified this himself, and he asked them, what do you think of the Messiah? Whose son is he? So even the New Testament, which is a historical Hebrew document, like it or not, verifies that even the authors of the New Testament understood that the Messiah would be the branch of David. But we've been showing that all night from non-Christian sources.
Let's not forget.
So let's pretend that this just got wrote today. By the time you get to this, everybody had already believed that. So let's not play any games, y'all. So I'm going to end it right here. The Messiah that would come would be the son or descendant or branch or stump or stem or shoot, whatever you want to use, of David and not David himself. And if anybody is telling you anything different, forget the New Testament. If they tell you anything different, they Tanakh only. They are lying on the Tanakh. They are going against thousands of years of Hebrew understanding in history, and they just plain don't know what they're talking about. See you next time.
All right, it's time to go to the phone lines. Once again, it's time to go to the phone lines. Let's go to 404-993. You're live on the air, 404-993. Hello? You're live on the air. What's going on?
Hello?
Shalom, Maki.
Yeah, we hear you.
Hey, I had to laugh.
This must be Mr. DeAndre right here.
That's who it is.
Hey, how y'all doing to make top of your audience? First of all, I want to say, hey, how everybody doing out there?
Hey, what's up, brother? Shabbat shalom.
I know that chuckle anywhere.
What's up, Dad? What's up, what's up, Antoine? And what's up, Josh?
What's up, brother? Can you speak up a little bit, too? Just a little bit louder.
Do y'all remember that? Do y'all remember that game called Connect Folk when you were growing up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yo.
Hey, you know, man, I come to the conclusion a long time ago that a lot of these people just walking with their eyes wide shut. You know what I mean? You know, you play the game to Connect Folk. You know how when you play somebody who can play the game real well, when nobody can get to Connect Folk, you have to let all the chips back out and start over again, right?
Right.
Y'all play the game and they
fall from the bottom.
Yeah, fall from the bottom. Y'all play you play the game of Connect Folk, using this analogy, right? They just putting all the little chips in one little spot, stack them, and you just Connect Folk. They ain't even in the game. They not even show up. You know, I this stuff ain't convoluted. For those that don't understand, convoluted mean it ain't hard, it ain't difficult, it don't take a rocket science. It's plain reading and just it's plain. It's right there, plain to see.
But again, that's what I call it, walking with the eyes wide shut. That's all I want to say. I just want to call it and say, that is this job. I just sit here, took me a long, nice back, just listen and laugh and chuckle. Yeah, and I'm laughing not because I'm laughing at people because they're stupid or ignorant. I'm laughing at the fact that how you read plain scripture. Just precept on precept, here a little, there a little, and connect the dots. Connect four, and I'm like, that's why I'm laughing. And for those people that's out there that's listening, if you follow people that's teaching you contrary to what these brothers that brought y'all tonight, do me a favor, do them a favor, do the Most High a favor, because you ain't got to stand before me. I'm not the judge. They ain't the judge. Do yourself a favor. Repent from being ignorant. Repent from being ignorant people. Straight up. I'm being straight up. I ain't laughing. I ain't joking no more. I'm being serious as a heart attack. From being ignorant. Stop following these ignorant, unlearned teachers. Sit up under somebody that's going to teach you sound nothing. Sit up under somebody that's going to give you biblical precepts, rightly divided, so you can save your soul alive and stop following these people by walking with your eyes wide shut. That means spiritually inebriated, spiritually drunk. That's all I'm calling in to say. Y'all guys keep doing the thing you're doing, and I'm going to sit back and keep having my six-pack and have me a good old chuckle.
Yes, man.
All right, we got to go to the next caller. Let's go to 203-868. You're live in the air.
Hey, Shalom, Sal, and all the brothers. Josh, this is
Shalom.
You to teach. This tribe is you to teach them way back in the day, Josh.
Oh, what's up, tribe of Yehuda?
What's going on, brother? So listen, right? I wasn't going to press the one, but since none of the OT brothers pressing it, I said, well, let me just call in. So you got me cracking up, right? Because I've dealt with so many OT-only brothers at this point. It's like I don't even know what to do because they always come with the same stuff. And this ain't a knock on all of them because we know they all don't believe the same thing.
Right.
But the ones who have the issue with the Messiah thing, or who we believe is the Messiah, I say it that way. So you got me cracking up because I did a video back in April, I believe. I think it was April, but I know it was 2016. The video was called, Did David Think That He Would Be the King in Heaven? The reason why I did that video is because people kept saying to me, it's talking about David's the Messiah. I'm like, what are y'all reading? Again, no disrespect. What are y'all reading? So I said, let me do a video. So I did a video, like I said, it was called, Did David Think He Would Be King in Heaven? Now, I like your methodology. That's why I'm laughing. I didn't even try to prove that Yahweh Shai, the name I use, I didn't even try to prove that Yahweh Shai was the Messiah. I just pointed out that according to the Tanakh, David himself knew that he was not the promised Messiah, right?
Right.
I brought out basically most of the same scriptures in the same points that you made. Now, when you go to that, if you was to go to that video and you look at the comment section, you know what you see? You see a bunch of anti-Messiah comments, a bunch of anti-Yahweh Shai comments. You see a bunch of personal attack. You see a bunch of name calling. You see everything in that comment section except for dealing with the scriptures and the points that I put in the video.
You see everything.
And I purposely did not even say, I think it's Yahweh Shai. Everybody know what I believe, so there was no need for me to say that. I just showed that David himself knew that he was not the one. But nobody addressed the scriptures and the verses. It was just all personal attacks. So when I heard what you were saying tonight, I was just rolling because I'm like, that's exactly what them brothers be doing. They never address the issue. They just come with their attacks on what we believe. So I just called it out, brother, you ain't by yourself.
Praise God. Appreciate that. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All right, let's take another caller. Let's go to 323-232. You're live in the air.
Hey, shalom, Sal. It's Amayan. Shalom to ABT. Shalom, brothers.
Hey,
Peace.
shalom, brother.
Shalom.
I have a question on the son of David. Well, I have a few questions actually, but I want to start with this one here. Do you guys believe in the virgin birth?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. In Matthew chapter 22, where you was reading it, but you guys never finished it. I thought you was. So my question comes from here, right?
Uh-huh.
So it says, while the Pharisees, I'm going to read it. It says, while the Pharisees were gathered together, Jesus asked them, saying, what think ye of Christ? Whose son is he? They say unto him, the son of David. He saith unto them, how then doth David in spirit call him Lord, saying, the Lord said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand till I make thine enemies thy footstool. If David then called him Lord, this is Christ's question that he even had when he was alive and they were saying that he was the son of David. He was correcting them and said, he isn't. He's saying that, no, I'm not that, because he's correcting them and saying, no, because he's posing a question to them, the same question I'm going to pose to you, because that's why I asked you first about, do you believe, let me finish.
Let me make sure I heard you right. You said that he was correcting them, saying he's not the son of David?
That's correct.
Why does it say that at?
He's asking him, I'll read it again for you.
He's asking
they
them
say,
what do they think.
He asked them
what they think of the Messiah.
Correct, and they said
he never said the Messiah is not the son of David, or he's not. Why did you say that at?
I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it. He's asking them a question. Let me read it again real slow.
I got that. Okay, break it down slow.
Okay. While the Pharisees were gathered together, Jesus asked them, saying, what think ye of Christ? It's a question. It said, another question, whose son is he? Question. They say unto him, this is their answer to his question, the son of David. That's their answer to him to his question, right? He's going to respond to that. He's going to now respond to that answer. He's saying, he saith unto them. He's responding to them. He's not agreeing with them. He's responding to them to their answer. He says, how
he's not disagreeing
how
with them
then
either, though.
He's starting off. He's starting off with a question. Then he's saying, since your answer to me is he's the son of David, Christ coming back with a question. He says, how then doth David in spirit call him Lord, saying? He's asking him a question. The Lord said unto my Lord, sit thou on my right hand till I make thy enemies thy footstool. Okay? He finished off his question saying, if David then calleth him Lord, how is he his son? That's his question to them. When they said he's the son of David, his question is, well...
So the question is, how can he be both? That's the question. How can he be his Lord and his son? He never said one time, I'm not the son of David. He never said Christ is not the son of David. He's asking them what is known as a paradoxical question. You know what a paradoxical question is, brother?
Brother,
if you don't, just say you don't. I know I answered your question, and I'm asking you, do you know what a paradoxical question is? Yes or no?
No.
If you don't, just okay, you don't know. Let me explain what a paradoxical question is. A paradoxical question is a question that if you answer it, it's going to contradict the very nature of the question. In other words, it's a question that it's an answer that seems that whatever answer you get is going to contradict itself. What he's asking them is, who is the Messiah? They said the son of David. We showed this entire class, even from the Tanakh, that the Messiah would be from the seed of David. He would be that branch from the branch of David. We know that. But what he's asking them is, how can he be both? Because David called him Lord, which means he's greater than David, but yet he's from the seed of David, which means he is less than David. That's why you call their descendants. The word descendants comes from the word descend, which means to go down, meaning somebody lower than rank than you. So he's asking them, how can he be both? How can he be above you and below you. And that's why they couldn't answer the question, brother. Because it was a paradoxical question. A paradoxical question doesn't have an answer unless you believe that the Messiah has a pre-existence. That's the only way you can answer that question. Something they did not want to deal with. That's why they couldn't answer the question.
Yeah, read verse 46. That's why they wasn't able to answer him a word.
If he wasn't the son of David, Jesus would have plainly told them that. What think you of Christ? He didn't say, wrong. He's the son of David because David said this. No, he said, if that's the case, how can he call him Lord if he's his son? How can the Messiah, how can David refer to the Messiah as somebody that's greater than him when the Messiah is also his descendant, which means somebody less than him? That's why we're called descendants. You know, when you ascend, you go up. That's why you got your ancestors, right? When you're going back. But when you descend, you going down. That's why we're called descendant, meaning lower. Lord means higher. You know, Adoni, that's the word in the Hebrew. Kurios in the Greek. So that's why they couldn't answer the question, brother. He never denied he was the son of David. I don't even know how you can even get something like that out of that.
I want to make sure you finish.
Is the brother still online?
Yeah, I'm on.
Is the brother still online? Hey,
hello?
Hey, my brother.
Hello?
You still on, bro?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I hear.
Okay. I just got a quick question. Are you Messianic or, like, what is your belief system?
I'm Messianic.
Oh, so you don't believe in the virgin birth, right?
I believe in the virgin birth.
Okay, I'm not understanding.
Okay, so if you believe in the virgin birth, do you also believe in do you believe the whole New Testament?
Wait, brother, can I'm trying to respond to what you're saying, because what you're saying is not what Christ got to saying. You're saying that Christ,
I'm
saying something that Christ didn't say.
Do you believe the whole New Testament? That's what I want to know, because you got Messianics that only believe the Gospels and don't believe Paul's writings. That's what I'm asking. Do you believe the whole New Testament?
Yes.
Okay. LeVar, give him Romans chapter 1 and verse 3. I'm not putting anything in the Messiah's mouth. Now, you said that you believe the whole New Testament. So we're going to just help you out a little bit. We're not trying to embarrass you or put you on the spot. We're just trying to help you out. Romans
Wait a
1
minute.
and 3.
Wait a minute. Wait, before you read Romans, I'm trying to respond to what you were saying here at Matthew 22, because what you were saying is inaccurate.
It's not inaccurate once you read Romans 1 and 3. It's not inaccurate. I'm telling you that he was the seed of David. That's what I'm telling you. And you said you believe the whole New Testament.
How is he the seed of David if there is no sex occurred for him to come forth? How is he the seed of David?
Don't he got a mama?
Okay, according to Jewish reckoning, it goes to the father, right?
Wait.
Okay, I
yes,
understand.
Under normal circumstances, yes. But if there's a virgin birth, that's miraculous. But LeVar, read Romans 1 and 3. This is going to answer your question, brother. That's what you need to do. Read it right quick, LeVar. Please read that.
Romans 1 and 3. Concerning his son, Jesus Christ, our Lord, made of the seed of David according to the flesh.
What does that say, brother? Seed of David according to the flesh. What does that mean?
Brother, you tell me what it means. Because if you believe in a virgin birth, that means there was no sex like that he came forth. So if you're saying seed means sperm here.
I'm not talking about no sex, bro. I'm not talking about that. I'm asking you.
That's why I said you tell me what it's saying.
The seed of David according to the flesh. What does that mean? Tell me what that means.
Brother, I don't know what it means. You tell me what it means.
It means exactly what it says. If I'm your seed according to your flesh, that means I'm your biological seed. That means that I come from you according to the flesh. Paul used other terminology like this. So wait a minute. So
you saying that's sex then? You saying that's sex then? Someone
I'm not saying that.
had a son then.
Whose seed are we talking about? Did David have sex?
Brother, you just got to saying biological. What you said. You
said
said biological just now.
Brother, you're not listening. It said the seed of David. It didn't say seed of Joseph. David had sex, and he had descendants.
I understand. You said biological just now. Did you not say that?
Yes, I said biologically from David.
Okay, so that means sex. That means sperm.
Yes, and David is the one that had sex. I agree. That means they grew sperm, though.
Let me finish.
Brother,
you said
brother,
no,
mucus guy, because he ain't got no understanding. Mucus guy. He just said he don't understand what seed of David means according to the flesh. He just said, I don't know. seed of somebody according to the flesh means you are related to them. So the only way both of these statements can simultaneously be true, him being born of a virgin and yet still being the seed of David, which means the sperma of David, that's the Greek word there, sperma of David, is if he is related to David on his mother's side. That's the only way it can be both.
Right.
But it says seed of David according to the flesh. That means that he is an actual biological descendant of David, not of Joseph, of David.
Right, and bro, and like I always try to tell the people who like have issues with the virgin birth, and when it comes to that stuff with the seed and descendant, it's like this. It's like me. If I have a child right now, that's the seed of twin, right?
Exactly.
If my child, say I have a daughter, and my daughter has another child, that is still my grandchild. That is my even though I'm not the one who had sex with my daughter and she had another child, that is still my descendant.
This is basic.
This
is basic genealogy understanding. In other words, on my mother's side, I am the seed of my grandfather.
Exactly.
But what if my mom and dad got the same ancestor? So even if my dad dies, or if my dad ain't a part of that ancestral line, I'm still a descendant. All things seed means is descendant. It uses the Greek word sperma, which indicates if it's David's sperm, that's indicating that David had sex. You don't read David's sperm and then jump all the way down to Joseph. No, it said seed of David. Did David have sex? Absolutely. He had many wives. Mm-hmm. But see, there's something else I want to bring out, right? And I just find this funny. Here we are on this show trying to help people understand who the Messiah would be, and this brother want to call in and argue about the virgin birth. And I thought
he said he believed the virgin.
No, he does. I think he want to argue about it. Well, what he's trying to establish a doctrine that the Messiah was born of a virgin, but not the seed of David, which is dumb because that's what you read all over the New Testament. And then it said the seed of David according to the flesh. But let me show you. Let me show you something else though, right? Let me show you something else, right? Check this out. Go to Romans. So these people, boy, I tell you, man, these people don't get it. Now, this is a new one, though. I ain't never heard this one.
I've never heard this. This is something.
Believe in the virgin birth, but don't believe he the seed of David. And then the brother even admitted, I don't know what seed of David means. You mean to tell me you've been reading the Tanakh, you Messianic, you've been reading Tanakh, and you've been reading seed of Abraham all your life, and don't know that seed of Abraham means you're a descendant of Abraham? But then you get to the New Testament and read seed of David, and now you stupid, you confused? Come on, y'all.
I don't understand how you going to say he is the Christ, but you don't believe he was born. How can you say he is the Mashiach, but he's not from the line of David? That does not make sense.
Then he's not the Mashiach, because the Mashiach, like I said, man, everybody, what people want to do, what they want to do, turn to Romans 16 and 11. Read this.
Oh, my goodness, man. That just made my brain hurt right there, man.
You know what I'm saying? Hold on. I can tell you, man, see, people, what they want to do is, and this is a testimony to the Tanakh only Hebrews. Y'all see that Messianic Hebrews do the same thing. We ain't trying to make y'all the only bad guys.
Not at all.
Want to call in, stray away from the top. The brother that could be like, yo, appreciate that, man. You know, y'all showing that Jesus the Mashiach, or that the Mashiach would be from the lineage of David. Now this brother want to come and say he believes in the New Testament and ignore all the verses that say Jesus the seed of David. And then he's trying to read that Jesus was saying he wasn't the son of David into Matthew 22. No, all he was trying to do was show these people a paradoxical question. Then the brother said he didn't even know the paradoxical question. You sure don't understand a lot to have a lot to say. You don't understand what seed of David means? I can get any Tanakh only Hebrew in here right now and ask them, what does it mean in the Tanakh when it says somebody is the seed of somebody? They don't say that means that's their child or their descendant or their offspring. So this brother reads seed of David, and it even asks according to the flesh, and he confused.
Well, he's teaching a non-Messiah though. Like
that's what he's teaching. He's teaching a Messiah that has no earthly ties at all. That's what he's teaching.
That's ridiculous.
Okay, check this out, right? Go to Romans 1, and you already read Romans 1 and 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay, give me Romans 9:3.
He didn't even understand that.
He didn't even understand that. Let me. We're trying to help him out, but the brother want to be combative because people see us come on here and they see us edifying the people, and now they want to take us down the peg or two. That's all that is. And that ain't even the topic of the debate. I could have just dismissed the brother and be like, look, man, we ain't here to talk about the virgin birth. I even said that. I ain't getting off into that right now. But, you know, he got to come in. You know, but read Romans 9:3.
Romans 9, verse 3. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ for my brethren, my kinsmen according to the flesh.
My kinsmen according to the flesh, meaning I am biologically related to my brethren, meaning Israel. So if he's called the seed of David according to the flesh, the only way, brother, that you can believe in the virgin birth and Jesus can be a seed of David according to the flesh is if he descended from David on his mother's side. That's the only way those two can simultaneously be true.
And then he
That's
wouldn't
the
even
only
be an
way.
Israelite. Christ would not be an Israelite or a Hebrew or whatever you want to call it. He would not be that if he was not born of the flesh.
So would.
He would have his rightful place by the Most High as a Malach like he was in the Old Testament.
Yep. And that's the problem that he's stuck with at that point. Cause, I mean, that's every prophecy coming up to it. You know what I'm saying? So really, he's not saying that he has a problem with that. He's saying he really has a problem with the lesson everything brought forth. Because we showed tonight that this person will be a descendant from David.
Saying it all night. How did you miss that?
And that's the whole thing, you know, about it. If we're sitting here all night showing you that he will be a descendant from David, then why when you get to the New Testament, you say you believe it, why when you already in your mind already thinking that, well, he's going to be the seed of David. He's going to have to be from David some way, somehow.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you believe in the virgin birth. Come on now.
I thought the brother was going to try to pull most of his biological father argument. That's what
that's what I was getting at. That's why I asked him, like, what do you believe? Because it sounds like you think that Joseph was his biological father. No,
right. And then,
like, are you serious right now?
Right, and then check this out. It's not even just about. Let me read this real quick, y'all. I'll be real quick. This is from an encyclopedia, right? It's from the New World Book Encyclopedia. It's like the 1998 edition, right? And this is under the title of the Messiah, right?
Uh-oh.
Check this out. Messiah is a person who was thought of as a savior or liberator by his or her followers. The term Messiah comes from the Hebrew word meaning anointed one. The concept of a Messiah is central to Judaism and Christianity. The term Messiah originally was applied to ancient Hebrew priests and kings who had been anointed with holy oil. During biblical times, the Jews looked for a Messiah to deliver them from oppression. They also regarded certain prophets as messiahs. Says the term came to refer specifically to a descendant of the great Israelite leader King David.
Wow.
But then it references us, and you know how encyclopedias do. They'll send you to another place, right? To go look for something else. So it sends you to King David, right? Now check what it says out about King David. And this is just funny to me because you got it from the Bible. Now we're finna get it from an encyclopedia, right? Check this out. It says David was the second king of Israel and one of the great figures in the history of the Jews. He succeeded Saul as king about 1000 BC and ruled for about 40 years, longer than any other king of ancient Israel. More chapters of the Bible are devoted to David's reign than to that of any other monarch. The Old Testament also tells more about David as a person than about any other king. The prophets declared that a descendant of David will become the Messiah, an ideal king. This king would bring a golden age of peace, justice, and prosperity to Israel. But this shows another example, another reference that says that he said, and the funny part says the prophets declared that a descendant of David. It was funny because we read in the prophet that it says David's name itself, but they understood that as a title as far as his lineage.
Exactly. Notice ain't no encyclopedia telling you that the Hebrew Israelites were waiting on David.
Exactly. And when I saw that, I promise y'all, and this was y'all telling y'all earlier about how we go behind everything. I'm just literally looking at this stuff while we going over the lesson. I just grab my encyclopedia. Let me see what it say about in the encyclopedia. But it says the same thing: descendant of David.
You know, and you know what's so funny too, man? Because you know the brother calls in and he don't understand. He said that's why I asked, do we believe the whole New Testament, right? You know what I'm saying? And he obviously don't. Give me Hebrews chapter 7 and verse 14.
Oh man, yeah.
LeVar.
Yeah.
Man,
you know what I'm saying? So many people want to call in and try to show off their knowledge that they think they got. When all you need to do if you messianic is amen to class, you believe in Jesus, and then later on get at us about this stuff. Why are you trying to turn this into a challenge over something we ain't even talking about? You know what I'm saying? No, to not only Hebrew believe that the Messiah would not be the descendant of David. You know what I'm saying? Or a descendant of anybody, I should say. Ain't nobody walking around believing that. Because if they believe it's David, then they believe he is a descendant of Judah. Right? So give me Hebrews 7 and 14.
Hebrews 7 and 14. For it is evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah, of which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood.
Well, it ain't evident to that brother that just called in because he said that he wanted to see the David. If the Lord came from Judah, that means he had to come from somebody who came from Judah, which was King David. But we don't beat this dead horse enough. Let's get to some more calls on, pal.
That was ridiculous, man.
This is crazy, man. Everybody want to try to call in and show out. Even Messianics. You know, the brother see all the edification, jealousy got the best of them, now he want to take us down a peg or two. That's all that is. Terrible. It ain't just y'all to knock on the Hebrews. I get on all of them. Y'all know I do. I go in on Hebrews, period. And that's if the brother even was.
All right, fellas, let's get some last words in. I guess we'll start with Antoine. Last words.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear you.
Oh yeah. Okay. Again, I want to say thank you, Sal. I appreciate everything you do, and I just pray that the Most High continues to bless you and your platform. Shabbat shalom to everybody out there. Again, just a blessing to be a part of this lesson. My brothers, you guys, you know I love you. I love ABT and everything that we have going. And again, I look forward to when this class is uploaded and to go in and seeing everybody who has something to say or something to comment on that had the opportunity to talk about it tonight. And even still, when people do press 1, which they rarely do, they don't address the material. And that's very telling. And we have a lot of people that have told me personally, like, look, man, what really got me interested into what you guys were presenting was the fact that nobody ever challenged the scholarship. And I just appreciate it. Bro.Josh, love you. LeVar, I love you. Everybody, ABT, Elder David, Big Baby, Lisi, Kev, the other Kev, Jeff, the other Jeff, Casey, everybody, Joey, Tommy, everybody. I can't shout out everybody, but, you know, I love all of you guys. And Felix, I appreciate everything. And that's all.
All right, this is Brother LeVar, and I just want to end it by referencing Numbers chapter 1, where there was actually a census done in Israel. I'm going to read verse 4, and it says, "And with you there shall be a man of every tribe, one head of the house of his father." Right? Now, when you read the Midrash material and Midrash Tanhuma, Rabbi Naaman says the word man in the passage refers to the Messiah, son of David. This is what verse 4 says again. "And with you there shall be a man of every tribe, one head of the house of his fathers." The early rabbis knew that the Messiah would be the head of the house, this house of David. This is why they interpret this to be messianic in Numbers chapter 1, verse 4. This rabbi understood that this man in this passage right here refers to the Messiah, the son of David. This is not me making this up. This ain't Brother Josh making it up. This ain't Antoine making it up. This is Hebrew history. And for the brothers that's going to come on the channel and throw these ignorant comments up and not address anything, you're a waste of time, because the only thing that you're doing is promote more ignorance among our people. Address the material, or just don't say nothing at all. But I'd like to say peace and blessings in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. It was an honor to be on here. Thanks for having me, Sal. And hopefully everybody come in tomorrow and break bread with us tomorrow in the Sabbath class. Shalom.
Okay, I guess I'll just pick it up. Like LeVar and Antoine said, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate just the opportunity to be on. I love all my brothers and sisters at ABT. I'm not shocked at all about how this turned out. I am a little shocked about the last caller that called in. He don't even understand that he's teaching a form of Gnosticism. I can come off on that, and that's the ideology that Jesus did not have any earthly genealogy. You know, he didn't even understand to eliminate earthly family from the equation. You follow what I'm saying? It's like you're in essence saying he had no human connection. And that's just not what the New Testament says. That's not what the Tanakh says, or the Old Testament, right? I knew that this was going to happen. I knew nobody was going to call in and challenge the info. I knew that people were going to try to go after the New Testament. And I knew people don't even want to deal with the topic. And see, this is a very important thing for people at Debate Talk for you to understand. It would be like you going to school, you're going to a regular secular school, and your teacher is teaching you, we'll just say, about algebra, right? And every time she's trying to teach, some kid in the room jumps up, interrupts her, and starts asking her about social science, which has nothing to do with algebra. You can't learn that way. You got to learn to stay on topic. These people do stuff like this because when they're getting exposed, when anybody is getting exposed, the first instinct is to draw attention away from self. They don't want to be exposed. They don't want us to pull the curtain on them. So what they do is they try to redirect your attention. This isn't about the New Testament. This is about what our Hebrew forefathers believed before there was a such thing as the New Testament. And we have proven beyond a shadow of a doubt. We proved it from the Tanakh itself. We proved it from the Stone Edition Tanakh, their growing weapon of choice. Showed the commentators in there. All of these people unanimously believed that the Messiah would be a descendant of David, not David himself. We showed you from the Targums. We showed you from the Targum of Palestine, the Targums of Onkelos. Everybody interpreted these passages messianically, and they all referred to them as the branch of David. We went to the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Qumran community. They said branch of David, we mean descendant of David. Everywhere we read, branch of David, seed of David, branch of David, seed of David. Everybody understood this. It's only these modern-day Tanakh-only Hebrews, the black ones, because even the so-called Tanakh-only white Jews understand this, and y'all don't. Y'all don't supposed to be behind them. Come on, y'all. Thought y'all were Israel. How y'all going to let the imposter have better understanding of your scripture than you? That's a shame. You Israel. I believe y'all Israel before I believe they are. Y'all fit the description. Y'all fit the curses. I can't say every last one of y'all are Israel according to the flesh, but I definitely know that black people in America, some of them or a lot of them got to be Israel. And I believe that it would be y'all before I believe it would be them, because they ain't even the right color anyway. And yet these people got better understanding on your Tanakh than you. They understand that it's the seed of David. It's the branch of David. But most importantly, y'all got to stop not understanding that the term or name David became the prototypical name in the Old Testament. That's why the Messiah was likened to him. He would be from that house, as LeVar pointed out. He would be from the house of David. And in the prophecy, they just abbreviated him to just plain David. But you can't say that's talking about the actual David, or you have a major contradiction on your hand, because Ezekiel 37 says there will be one king, and they called that King David. It said one king over them. But Jeremiah 23 says the branch raised unto David, which everybody knows, meaning a descendant, would be the king and execute judgment. So it can't be both unless, when you read about David, it's a name for the Messiah. That's why Jeremiah 23 says branch unto David. Jeremiah 23, 5 and 6. Then you go to Jeremiah 30, 8 and 9, and then it says David himself. Then you go back to Jeremiah 33, and it says, 14 and 15, and it switches back to branch of David because the prophets understood that branch unto David and David was synonymous in a prophetic context.
Right.
Y'all got to get better on this. This is why when you go to history, you don't read about nobody waiting on David. If the understanding was we waiting on David, we should be able to read that all throughout Hebrew history. It should be as easy as you going on social media, going online and reading, we waiting on David. But every community, the Qumran community, the people that wrote the Targums, we could have took you further than this. Everywhere you read, no matter what sect it was, everybody believed that the Messiah would be the branch or descendant of David, not David himself. So if you want to be stuck on stupid and be prideful and be an ego and just don't want to, humble yourself to the truth, then fine. But understand this. History agrees with you. The Tanakh disagrees with you. Your understanding of who that David is, that's a major contradiction if you try to make it the literal David. And our New Testament disagrees with you. Thank you, everybody. Love y'all. Good night.
Straight out of Israel, the land, relation, peace we embracing, streets be adjacent, exile files, hot and out mild like Paul style, always show a smile profile, lit like a candle, subscribe the channel, holy words flow out of my mouth like Daniel, love not hate will make us a better nation, this is why we debate, get a revelation, get organized, then we authorize, bring the King James Version cause it's authorized, King Arthur sword, shade fuzz off the sides, got pride like a lion in my awesome tribes. Everywhere we amazing, debate talk for you is my favorite station. Shekels in the side, Jekylls when I hide, cause the squad like a bird that speckle when it flies. Get the real deal, research in the field, cause you know that man upset you when he lied. Make the mind get enhanced, matter of fact, thank Showtime in advance.